Good morning, guys.
954-753-8080.
Right now, the U.S. is in the midst of a deadly opioid
Welcome to the show. We'll be on the air in
epidemic.
just a
South
couple
Florida
minutes.
alone,
Subscribe if you
someone
don't.
suffers an overdose every
If you're
2
new, welcome.
hours,
This is the
either
most
from heroin,
pro-Donald
fentanyl,
Trump
or some
radio
other
show in
prescription
America.
medication
I
that's
promise
as
you. My name is
close as
Brian
the
Craig.
family medicine cabinet. In fact, Mom and
You'll never
Dad's
hear me
medicine
criticize
cabinet
President
is
Trump.
frequently the gateway
This is our
to
top of the hour
horrors of
break
hardcore addiction down the road.
for the
Drug
show. We're live
problems,
in Morning
left
Drive here in
unattended,
South Florida.
are only going to get worse. This is not something you can do on your own.
That's
You
right.
need expert professional help.
Yeah,
And
did you
if your
guys see
family
Chris
is
Wallace, Katie
disintegrating in front of
Pavlich?
your
I'm going to
eyes
play
and
it
you feel
actually over
helpless,
my
I'm here to
iPad because I
tell you
didn't pull
that
the
help is
audio up in
available.
time.
Call my good friend Sal at the Edge Recovery, 561 area code 523-4325. This is his personal cell phone,
Hey, Texas.
561-523-4325. If your loved one refuses treatment, the Edge Recovery will conduct an intervention and get them into the treatment plan that they need. The Edge Recovery offers every option from intervention.
We're coming on live now.
30-day rehab.
Hey, Patricia.
Sober living to counseling with a licensed therapist, as well as group therapy treatment. It's covered by most insurance, but no matter what your situation is, the Edge Recovery has options for you. Call Sal at the Edge Recovery. Do it today. 561 area
It
code
is, what's the date?
4325. Again, that's Sal's personal cell phone. 561
decided not to investigate.
4325.
This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry
Hey,
Seal's
Houston.
free
Carol in
living trust
Houston,
seminar.
welcome.
Be sure you and
Are
your
you new
family
to the
are
show?
properly protected, even
Subscribe if
you
you
already have a
are.
trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free living trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
All right.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
Yes, yes. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Also, the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in America, and for that matter, the world. You will never hear me criticize President Trump. Not that he's done anything worthy of criticism or anything, but he's got enough people out there criticizing him already. I'm here to support Trump, get him reelected, and I'm proud to be on the Trump train. Welcome to the program. So much to talk about. Did you see this exchange between Chris Wallace and Katie Pavlich? Yeah, I'm going to play this over my iPad. So what I'm actually going to do is hold my iPad up to my microphone. We're very high-tech here. I could pull it up and do all kinds of fancy stuff, but who needs all that fancy stuff that I do with all the other sound bites? All the other sound bites will be on our fancy modern equipment. But this one I didn't pull up in time to put in the audio vault to play on the air. So I'm just going to play it live over my iPad. So we've had a week. Last week was a week of boredom. Let's be honest here. It was a week of boredom in the impeachment trial. And now, after a week of boredom, we have the superstar dream team that President Trump has put together. And the liberals in the mainstream media, CNN and Chris Wallace and others, are not doing too well. They're becoming very unglued. It wasn't supposed to be this way. People were supposed to care and demand. The Trump train people were supposed to jump off and get on the impeachment train, or more accurately, the impeachment steamroller, and it all failed. Yeah, oh man, Pam Bondi yesterday, who was a guest here in studio on the Steve Kane Show, Pam Bondi just hit a home run. Oh, my goodness. It's like Babe Ruth out there. She just did an incredible job, Pam Bondi, and it was a meltdown. I turned over to the Jake Tapper panel on CNN, Jake Tapper had this panel of like 12 people sitting around this half-circle table, And you know what it really looked like? It looked like a support group for, I'm just making this up right now. Let me get the letters right. TDA, Trump Derangement Anonymous. Trump Derangement Anonymous. They were sitting there, they were holding hands. They all looked like they had just, well, you know, gone in their pants. And they're holding each other's hands and they're like, it's over. It's over. You know, when Pam Bondi came out yesterday and went through the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam, it was like she was reading Profiles in Corruption for Peter Schweitzer right in front of there. Is Peter Schweitzer, is he on the Trump team? Because they had everything. And I flip over to CNN because I wanted to see if they were carrying it. I'm like, oh man, this is going out over the air on CNN. I didn't bother with MS-13 BC. And it was spectacular. And then and then CNN comes on and with Jake Tapper, who says, none of that's true. Joe Biden never did that. What he confessed to? I mean, Pam Bondi is just a superstar. That's a girl that's going places. She might be the first female president. She's got to get married first. She's a single lady. We like our women married in the Republic. But yeah, oh man, I know, isn't it? It was just spectacular. So CNN, they're in total meltdown mode. But Chris Wallace had the biggest meltdown of all. Chris Wallace hates Trump like the plague. I would say that Chris Wallace's days are numbered at the Fox News channel, which he might like. He should go over where his daddy was at CBS News or go over to CNN or MSNBC where he'd be comfortable, where he's surrounded by his own kind. Liberal, arrogant jerks that hate Trump. He'd love it over there. Maybe Shepard Smith will take him to MS-13 BC. Now, let me play this exchange. This is the tail end of the exchange. Katie Pavlich. Any of you guys follow Katie Pavlich on Instagram? This girl, she travels constantly. Every weekend, she's in South Africa. She's in Thailand with her, I don't know if it's her husband or fiance. I don't know what it is, but the girl travels a lot. So this is yesterday. It's not going well. The Trump Dream Team are making their case. Katie Pavlich is in studio. It's Brett Baer. It's Martha McCallum. And Chris Wallace. And Chris Wallace just loses it with Katie Pavlich. I'm just playing this over the iPad, and this is a new iPad, so I'm not even sure where the speaker is. Let me put this up to the mic. Here we go. Let me hit play here. Hold on. See, this is so new. I don't even know how to use it. Hold on. It'll play.
The Justice Department decided not to investigate, and that is why it went to the House. So to say that in the Clinton investigation that these people were interviewed by the House, one, they weren't, and to say that it wasn't done by the Justice It wasn't done by the Justice.
Now, this bit of silence. He hasn't snapped off to her yet, but he's schooling Katie Pavlich here. That moment of silence that came in was someone in the control room cutting his mic off because he's dressing down Katie Pavlich, who was really one of the it girls over there on Fox News Channel. They love Katie Pavlich. They love her, and they should. She's very good. She wrote that book on Fast and Furious back in the Obama era. What news have you broken, Chris Wallace? I know Katie Pavlich did an entire book on Fast and Furious, the gun running scandal of Barack Obama. What news have you ever broken? But that dead silence there, when I first heard that, I thought that was a technical glitch. No, that was the control room turning off the mic because they're in a panic mode. So let me go back a little bit, and then he's going to get nasty with her. See, there's the silence.
It wasn't done by the Justice Department because the Justice Department refused to carry out the investigation. Get your facts straight.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the facts here, Chris.
Get your facts straight. Get your facts straight. How about get a job without using your daddy's name? How about that? Your trust fund name, you know. He's like Meghan McCain without the obesity in the breast. Really, right? He's that kind of guy. Get your facts straight, Katie Pavlich. Chris Wallace I believe his days are numbered at Fox News Channel. I think they've been numbered for a while. He was trying, in my view, he was trying to get that afternoon gig that Shepard Smith vacated, and they gave it to Bill Hemmer. And I was talking last week, there's been there's been a tone change at Fox News. I think he's pissed off. He has no respect for Katie Pavlich because she's a youngin'. She's a young girl. And, Chris Wallace, he doesn't understand that he's only there because his daddy was Mike Wallace of 60 Minutes. He thinks he's some hot journalist who's just broken all these stories and worked his way up. He doesn't understand that he's on Fox News for the same reason Meghan McCain is on The View. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. But the way he behaved with Katie Pavlich yesterday, when he just lost his lunch there, because Pam Bondi and the dream team of Donald Trump have been hitting home run after home run every time they speak, and the Trump removal from office is melted away, and the acquittal is just days away. Chris Wallace just lost it, and what will happen with that? What will he seems to be kind of like an outsider over there now with the tone change over there. So Chris Wallace, days are numbered. Do you think he was out of line, schooling her on the air like that? They're not really supposed to do that. And Martha McCallum and Brett Baer cut in. First, the control room tried to cut the mic. They didn't know what to do. And then Brett Baer and Martha McCallum cut in, and you see get your facts straight. You dumb blonde broad. That's what he was thinking. He's an old timer. He probably uses broad still. But Katie Pavlich is so beloved over there. She's higher up on the totem pole than Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace on his way out at Fox News. That's my prediction. Yeah, Martha McCallum. Watch the video online. I did. It is on my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter. Let me go back. Let's go back to it again.
The Justice Department decided not to investigate, and that is why it went to the House. So to say that in the Clinton investigation that these people were interviewed by the House, one, they weren't, and to say that it wasn't done by the Justice.
There's the mic cut.
It wasn't done by the Justice Department because the Justice Department refused to carry out the investigation. Get your facts straight.
Let's talk about some of the facts here, Chris. The point is that
let's
all
tone
of
it
the
down.
information that the grand
and I love Katie Pavlich. She doesn't stand down to this creepy old man. And she didn't say, "Settle down, boomer." She didn't use that. She didn't use that. She came back and she made an argument. And I love it. I love it because I don't like Chris Wallace. And, that was Chris Wallace's meltdown. Chris Wallace's meltdown with Katie Pavlich yesterday. That is I don't care what polls they give and what analysis is done. Chris Wallace's reaction was all the analysis you need as to how this impeachment trial is coming along. It's a disaster for the left. It's a disaster for the Never-Trumpers. It's a disaster for the mainstream media. And Chris Wallace has lost it. Oh, man, that's some great stuff. You're on the radio. Good morning.
That whole thing, I felt like punching Chris Wallace in the face.
Because he did, why? Because he disrespected a woman like that?
Yeah, the way he talked.
Yeah.
Grabbed that guy with an army throat hold. Oh, man. Anyway, Pam Bondi was phenomenal.
Wasn't she great? Wasn't she great?
Knew everything. They don't want to say his name, but he knew it.
You know what it looked like? When Pam Bondi was up there, it looked like it wasn't the impeachment trial of President Trump. It looked like the impeachment trial of President Barack Obama, didn't it? Like she was laying out a case against Obama with his quid pro quo and everything. My goodness.
Exactly. He had to know everything. That's why he doesn't want to endorse Biden. And people should get up and realize this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money too.
I wonder if you're talking about the Iran deal. I wonder if Obama, what?
The Burisma deal.
Oh, Burisma? Oh, you think Obama's in on Burisma? Oh, well, that's interesting. Do you think Obama's going to be giving the eulogy at Kobe Bryant's funeral?
I don't know.
I've been seeing video of him with Kobe the last couple of days a lot. Yeah, Chris Wallace is. Do you agree with me that Chris Wallace's days are numbered at Fox News Channel?
Oh yes, sure. I hate him. Can't stand him.
Why do you hate him?
He's just an arrogant,
Yeah.
to duel with everybody.
Well, this is just me. With rare exceptions, I don't respect people that just get to places because they're connected, like Chris Wallace. And, Anderson Cooper's connected, right? Gloria Vanderbilt's son, but he actually went out there and worked and did grunt work and everything else as a reporter. Has Chris Wallace ever broken news? I know Katie Pavlich did with Fast and Furious, but has Chris Wallace ever broken news? Is he really a news person? I don't know.
I don't know what he is.
He's yeah.
He's smarter than him.
Oh, she's spectacular, Katie Pavlich. And that exchange I just played is all over Twitter. And, yeah.
Biden's brother was building 1,000 homes in Iraq. You think Obama didn't know about that?
When I was listening to an interview with Peter Schweitzer over the weekend. He was talking about Biden's corruption. He was promoting his book, Profiles in Corruption, which is a brilliant name. Profiles in Corruption. The millennials don't even know what that means, what that reference is, because they don't require profiles in courage anymore, probably in the 8th grade, like when I was in school. But Peter Schweitzer said Biden has 5 family members that were working these deals, not just his brother and his son, that there were 5 members of his family that he was working out these big deals with. And it's more than any other Washington corrupt politician Peter Schweitzer has seen. And you know what I wonder about this? And because I was listening to this interview with Peter Schweitzer, and there was one question I was wondering. He was going through all these deals Biden's brother had done and everyone else, with these companies. Do they actually do anything, or do they just appoint them to a board and pay them? Like, does Biden's brother go to board meetings and do work? Does Hunter Biden actually go to board meetings?
He goes to a board meeting twice a year.
Yeah, so the rest of the time they don't do anything. They just collect the check, and then I guess they got to give some of it to Joe
and Obama, I bet.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. All right, hey, listen, appreciate the call. Oh yeah, but he's in business. Yeah, look at what he's been. He spent his life in business doing what? He earned his money how? Obama, to buy a $12 million home.
He never had a job.
That's correct. Well, he taught one class a year or something at the University of Chicago before he was president. Well, the presidential salary is $400,000 a year, and I imagine the presidential pension is around that area. They've got one income in that family, $400,000 a year from that pension. Could you afford a $12 million home on that? I don't know.
He's getting like $250, $275.
Yeah, because I'm sure as a liberal, he takes 0 deductions. He deducts nothing. Because you want to give all your money to the government, right, as a good socialist.
It's like there's nothing in the house in Washington, 1 block from the...
Oh, yeah, I forgot. He has 2 homes now. Wait a minute. Does he still have the house in Chicago? 3 houses? Oh, man.
He has 3 houses.
He's got the house in Chicago still. Yeah, that's right. All right, appreciate your call. Thanks so much. We'll take our first break of the day. Your thoughts on Chris Wallace? Is he on his way out at Fox News Channel? Was he out of line with Katie Pavlich? 1-888-GO-CANE1. That's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Denture wearers are messy
Be right back,
adhesives
guys.
ruining the taste of your food. Is it painful for you to eat? Does the constant denture movement affect your speech? Are you always worried that your dentures will fall out while you're talking or laughing? Do you have sore spots? You are not alone. These are common problems that can be solved simply with dental implants. This is Steve Kane, and I want to introduce you to Brighton Dental Care, where the Kane family goes for all our dental needs. Brighton Dental Care doesn't want cost to stop you from being able to eat the foods you love again and live in comfort. That's why, for Steve Kane listeners, they're offering implants, get this, for just $3,500. That includes 2 implants plus a lower denture. Now, if you go to a dentist in Boca or in Aventura, they're going to charge you $6,000 for the exact same implants and denture. That's right, $6,000, but at Brighton Dental Care, just $3,500, and that includes the 2 implants plus your lower denture. Laugh and live with confidence. Call Brighton Dental Care at 954-922-4633, 954-922-4633, and online at brightondentalcare.com. Be sure to ask about special discounts for our military veterans.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had two ball tires in the back of my Infinity. So I called them up, and I was really check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price?
And
Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So
Wow.
they're not only half the price, the price is good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
Great guy. Everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody could buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
that's
Without
right.
a doubt.
That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, yes. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Today's the big day. Attorney Barry Siegel's workshops are today. The Medicaid Planning Workshop is at 10 a.m. Steve Kane will be there for that. And at 2 o'clock is the Revocable Living Trust Workshop. I'll be there for that one at the Courtyard by Marriott. Be there or be square. The Courtyard by Marriott in Boca is located immediately west of I-95 on the north side of Glades Road in Boca. Again, Medicaid Planning at 10, Revocable Living Trust at 2. So Chris Wallace just lost it. Days are numbered over there at Fox News Channel. Oh, man. I tell you what, yesterday was great. Pam Bondi, did Pam Bondi make you proud? She was our Attorney General here in Florida. I don't know what her future plans are, because she didn't run for any office last time. She did her 2 terms as Attorney General, and now she's on this dream team. And I think that out of the entire trial thus far, Pam Bondi had the best performance of all. In fact, not just the best performance, the most memorable. Because she really got into some stuff there. And, the great Alan Dershowitz, the Ken Starr, Jay Sekulow, these are all great people. Don't get me wrong, but Pam Bondi is the memorable moment of this. And 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years when they look back at the impeachment of Donald Trump and they play clips from the trial, they'll play Pam Bondi in her sequin dress or whatever that shiny dress she was wearing. But Pam Bondi is the standout so far. And could you imagine, what was going through the minds over there in the control room and on the set at CNN when she was detailing with video Biden's crimes in Ukraine and elsewhere with his son Hunter? And, what Pam Bondi did that was spectacular is she didn't go through and make accusations and just read through a list. What Pam Bondi did was brilliant and top level skill there. She let the mainstream liberal media make her points for her, and even had Hunter Biden doing a little testifying, and Daddy Joe Biden too. She played news bites, news clips, video clips from the mainstream liberal news. So it wasn't Pam Bondi saying these things. It was the mainstream liberal media. which was spectacular. And of course, Hunter Biden. I love that clip she played when the reporter interviewed Hunter Biden and says, would you have this job if your last name wasn't Biden? And he says, no, probably not. That's Hunter. And then she played that clip of Joe Biden bragging about the shakedown that he ran on Ukraine. I'm leaving in about a couple hours. If you don't have it, the money's not coming. Do it. And sure enough, they did it. They did. I said, call Barack. He'll back me up. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. And I was like, she's a superstar. She is a superstar. Where is Pam Bondi going from here? When President Trump is acquitted, where will she go next, Pam Bondi? We've got a governor in Florida. We've got 2 senators. House is too low for her. Too low. Too low. I don't know where she's going to go. I don't know, but I know she's going places. And it was pretty exciting yesterday. And over there at CNN, I was talking at the top of the hour. I turned on CNN because I wanted to see their reaction. And the reaction at CNN, as I said, it was like watching Jake Tapper didn't have a panel of analysts. It was a support group, a Trump derangement syndrome support group. TDS Anonymous live on CNN. It was like, oh my gosh, can you get me through this? It wasn't supposed to be this way. The days, Now, they're going to try to bring Bolton into this to try to prolong it. I know all the analysts are saying the obvious. The Democrats are trying to prolong this. They're trying to put off the acquittal as long as they can. Whether they have witnesses or not, I don't know. Today's the last day for the Trump legal team, right? So we're going to find out real quick whether or not there will be witnesses. I don't think there need to be witnesses at this point. Whatever happens so far as witnesses go. The president will be acquitted no matter what, but I don't think they should have witnesses. And I know they're saying, well, if there's no witnesses, the Democrats will never accept the verdict. The Democrats are never going to accept the verdict. If you had an endless line of witnesses, and this impeachment trial went on for a year into President Trump's second term, and then there was an acquittal, they'll never accept it. There's always going to be one more thing, one more witness, one more document, one more thing that needs to be looked at and seen. And then when the acquittal comes through, they'll always question it. They're never going to accept it. Don't you get it? They're never going to accept it. And you know what I'm wondering? This has been such an abuse of power by the corrupt Democrats in the House of Representatives, misusing their power. They're like bad cops. Like Harvey Keitel and Bad Lieutenant. They're just bad cops kind of thing going on here. Abusing their powers, abusing their authority, abusing their offices. You know what I wonder? When the next Congress comes in, has Mark Levin talked about this? When the next Congress comes in, and it looks like we're going to take back the House of Representatives. I mean, look at the tone in this country. We take back the House of Representatives. Can the next Congress overturn the impeachment of the previous Congress? I think they could take a vote to do whatever the hell they want. And even if it's never been done before and some of these legal experts say no, I think when the Republicans take back the House of Representatives, they should do one of those all-night-long things. Remember when Newt Gingrich had the Republican Revolution back in '94 and they had the Contract for America, the day that the Republicans took back, they had both houses of Congress, first time Republicans controlled both houses in like 30 years, 40 years or something, they were up all night doing it, man, passing all the things that they ran on. When the Republicans take back the House of Representatives, they should work all day, all night, boom, 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 after everyone's sworn in and just do it. And I don't care what the experts say. I don't care what the Democrats say. I don't care what the pundits say, CNN, MS-13, The next Congress, the Republican Congress, when Nancy Pelosi is no longer Speaker, should vote to overturn the impeachment of the President of the United States from the previous Congress. Even if it's just symbolic, do it. Screw them. They abuse their power. We can vote that. And make it as if it never happened. That's right, wipe it right off the record books because they're a bunch of bad cops. And I'll tell you this, Adam Schiff will still be in the Congress, so will Nadler. the next Congress, when the Republicans take over, should immediately have an investigation and investigate Adam Schiff, the Republican House, when we take back in November the House of Representatives, the Republican House should investigate Adam Schiff and find out about this collusion between him and the whistleblower and find out what crimes may have been committed. This cannot be allowed to go unpunished when you are misusing your office, when you are abusing your authority given to you with your office. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this and everything else I brought up so far on the program. We got more to talk about, but I want to hear from you and the listening audience, no matter where you are listening or watching us. By the way, we live stream now on YouTube Live, Brian Craig on YouTube. So go and watch us in high definition on YouTube Live. Just search Brian Craig on YouTube. That's Brian Craig on YouTube. I live stream each and every day. I have hundreds of videos up there. I also upload my podcast to my YouTube channel. That's Brian Craig on YouTube. There's a great chat room there. It's very active. A lot of good people there. Brian Craig on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and watch us live, okay? Watch us live. But no matter where you are listening or watching this program, our toll-free number works for you. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. 888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break and be back right after this.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on the air and told him about his experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker. I broke my tooth. I fractured it and it went backwards in my mouth.
Oh, my
front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti. And I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later. And I said, what am I going to do? You know? The dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it and to tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I traveled 139 miles. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Each way. Okay? The man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours. Put a pin in it. Put it back in place. I could eat anything I want. He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I can eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception. In New York City, he knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line?
An administration defined by ignorance of the law. And so that's partly him playing to their base and playing to their audience.
Thank you so much.
The credulous boomer root
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's been over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. Dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is this top shelf, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly
Coming back,
protected,
guys.
even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Is the Super Bowl this weekend or next? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. Hey, don't forget, everyone, over there at Brighton Dental, for Steve Kane listeners, you heard Richie talking about Brighton Dental. For Steve Kane listeners, free exam and free x-rays, okay? Free exam and free x-rays, but you got to mention the Steve Kane Show, and also a free second opinion. If you've been told by another dentist that you need to have any procedure done, large or small, you can get a free second opinion over there at Brighton Dental. And again, this is for Steve Kane listeners, free second opinions, because a lot of dentists do work they shouldn't be doing. You know this, come on. Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental will never perform dental work that you don't need, and he will give you a second opinion. If another dentist, even if you have something already scheduled, go over there. Get that free second opinion, free exam, free x-rays. The number listed at stevekaneshow.com, 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. All right, good morning. You're on the radio.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie. Yes.
I saw that Katie Pavlich.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't return after that. They went to a commercial, and then I didn't see her back on the panel.
Yeah, she's never been talked to that way. She's never, Well, I'll tell you a couple things about this, okay? Chris Wallace had a meltdown, but so far as Katie Pavlich has... I like Katie Pavlich. Please don't misunderstand me. I think she's great. But she's a pretty blonde, rich girl. If you follow her on Instagram, she travels the world every weekend. And she's not accustomed to having people question her. She's used to having people hang on her every word and kiss her butt and try to get in her pants and all this stuff. And when somebody actually challenges her, that may have been the first time that's happened.
Yeah, but she's so smart. She come right back, and she's got her facts. She reminds me of a real bulldog.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
She sits there, and she's so cerebral that they can't handle it. I mean,
yeah.
Incredible.
Well, why do you think she didn't return? You think she was upset and didn't return? It was kind of like...
I think they might have told her to take time off.
Was Chris Wallace back? Did they come... Well, did they come back with Chris Wallace? Was he back after the break?
He was doing that, but he came back on, and she wasn't there.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, she's a tough cookie, man. I mean, she is a conservative and wears it on her sleeve. I mean, she's not one of these fake conservatives. She's 150%.
Oh no, and she's always taking pictures with guns and things like this on her travel. She's the real deal, but I don't think she's accustomed to someone, especially a man, standing up to her.
She's not going to run away. She's not that other one that's on The Revolution sometimes, the one from California, totally different thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. The one with the smart glasses?
The blonde that's who's on The Revolution.
They're all blonde on Fox. I need more info than that. Oh. Yeah. They're all everyone's blonde on Fox except Harris Faulkner. Yeah.
She's the one that's young and beautiful. You make comments. She's 25 years old, and she lost her job with she used to be on The Blaze, and she lost her job.
Oh yeah, she used to be on One American News. Tommy Lahren. Tommy Lahren has the mind of a chipmunk. Okay, she's a total airhead ditz. Every blonde joke was made about her. Katie Pavlich is brilliant.
And now I got to tell you another thing. Pam Bondi. Not only was she excellent, but I don't know who the guy was after her. Did you see the...
Yeah.
We have a Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I know. In the hair, too. The spiked hair with the scalp showing and everything. Yeah.
And he ate their lunch. He reprimanded them. And then the topper was Dershowitz. He gave them an out, believe it or not. He gave them a total out for these people that want witnesses. Because Dershowitz said, listen, even if he did all these things, it's not against the law. It might be a lie is a sin, but it's against the law.
Yeah.
And he gave him a total out. Even if he did everything they said he did, which, that's his job.
Yeah.
And he gave these others an out. If Romney and these other people go for witnesses, they're out of them.
Yeah, they got one thing they're giving. Dershowitz, who's absolutely brilliant. I had him on my podcast a couple weeks ago, and so I got the contact there. Alan Dershowitz, they're trying to go after him now and discredit him because he had the wrong picture up of Madison or something. They get the wrong painting. Well, somebody on his staff screwed up.
He's brilliant.
Oh, by the way, call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, okay? because he was mentioning something to me about you. So give him a ring when you get a chance. Not right now. It's too early.
The thing I want to tell you, Giuliani's got his podcast today for the first.
Oh, about time. I thought it was going to be Friday, Rudy. What happened?
No, Tuesday, and Friday. I think twice this week.
Yeah.
A podcast today comes out today.
See, I've been on the cutting edge of this podcast business. Podcast to me, that's where it's at. Yeah.
Corrupt. I mean,
Well, when I was a little upset at Fox News Channel yesterday, I must tell you, Neil Cavuto and the Five cut in during this just incredible happening yesterday afternoon during the trial. So I switched over to CNN because Fox News cut out of it for Neil Cavuto and the Five. I was in shock, but I got to tell you, I'm so glad I did, Richie, because when they took a break and they go to that Jake Tapper panel, I mean, Jake Tapper looked like he went to the bathroom in his pants number 2. I mean, he was just so defeated, Jake Tapper.
Oh, that they said
I know,
that
Bruce. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Mark Levin interviewed the guy who wrote the book on Biden. Okay, and
Peter Schweitzer.
Yeah, Biden used to take the train every day, which is true. But if Biden was late for work, he would call up the train company because he would demand that he had somebody in the board of that train, Amtrak.
They'd hold the train for him?
They'd hold the train just for him. And
wow.
The train.
I wonder, about this train business with Biden on the Amtrak. By the way, I've taken Amtrak when I was younger. It smells like pee. And every once in a while, I'll drive by because I take that tri-rail we have down here sometimes to West Palm Beach, and it lets off at the Amtrak station. And not to be snobby or anything, but the people in line, they don't have luggage. They have like plastic grocery bags with their clothes and things in them. And I wonder when Biden took Amtrak, did he sit with the people or did he have like a private car and a sleeper car and all that stuff?
I know he held it up, but I can also tell you one other thing about Amtrak. You don't need, in a bright sunny day in South Florida, you literally don't need sunglasses on an Amtrak train because you can't see out of the windows because they're so dirty they've never been washed.
Yeah, Amtrak's disgusting. Amtrak is I've taken Amtrak a couple of times when I was younger, and it smells like pee. The first time I took Amtrak, I was so excited because I grew up on Silver Streak, right, with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. It ain't like Silver Streak. I mean, it's like Skid Row.
Is it not maintained?
No, it's worse than Greyhound.
Doctor, I used to ride the buses, and he worked for Amtrak. I mean, I can tell you, the cleanliness is terrible.
The last time I rode Amtrak, the conductor was walking through the car, and he looks over and he says, "Hey, do you guys want to see what a train looks like when it derails?" He says, "Look out the window." And there was a derailed train next to the track. I'm like, "Thanks a lot, conductor." No, Amtrak sucks.
Stops, believe it or not. You ever heard the other side of the tracks? Okay.
Definitely.
You can't get. I mean, it stops in the middle of dumps.
I think when the Amtrak train tracks were laid here in South Florida, I think that was really done to segregate. I think because you get, one side of the track is honky town and the other side, it's like, what I mean?
Look at Dania. There's a perfect example. You got the railroad tracks. You go west on Dania and the railroad tracks, and it's all African.
Even if you drive up to even downtown West Palm Beach, up where the Florida White House is, and literally, if you're to the east of the railroad tracks, you're like Rush Limbaugh, Donald Trump, Rod Stewart had a house, and then you go west of the tracks, and it's like crack, hookers, it's really rough. I mean, on a dime.
That I used to watch them take the marijuana bags. So God, and they used to bury them in the bushes, and I'd come over the railroad tracks going west, and there'd be like 10 kids by the park, and they'd be sitting there waiting for people to come customers. Yeah. And all the customers happen to be white people, believe it or not.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Richie. I gotta run, but all right, Richie. I gotta run, but thanks so much. 47 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be back right after this.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Attention homeowners, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm here to cut your electric bill and save you a lot of money. Perhaps even eliminate your electric bill altogether. We do this by making your entire home energy efficient, by upgrading some or all of the following: roofs, doors, windows, insulating your attic, AC systems and ducts, hot water heaters, and even adding solar. Energy efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves over a short period of time. Our program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all or part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, and no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be current on your mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, and today's the big day. Come meet Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, at Attorney Barry Siegel's workshop. Steve's going to be at the first workshop at 10. That's the Medicaid planning workshop. I'll be at the workshop at 2, which is the Revocable Living Trust workshop. And, of course, at the Courtyard by Marriott. Come meet me. I'll be there. We both, Steve and I, come in the beginning so we can rub elbows and talk a little bit. The Courtyard by Marriott is in Boca Raton, immediately west of I-95 on the north side of Glades Road in Boca. Steve will be there at the 10 o'clock Medicaid planning workshop. I will be there at the 2 p.m. Revocable Living Trust workshop. Be there or be square. So this thing with Rick Wilson and Don Lemon on CNN yesterday. Let me play this. This was just, they've really just, CNN used to be a brand, when it was new. It used to be a name, a CNN, and it was a place of credibility. Now it's become kind of like the Jerry Springer show over there. So this is Don Lemon, who likes to get drunk and go on television every year on New Year's Eve. It's a tradition over there on CNN. He has Rick Wilson there and some other guy I've never heard of before. And they're talking about Trump people. Listen.
And obviously it's false. And look, he also knows deep in his heart that Donald Trump couldn't find Ukraine on a map if you had the letter U and a picture of an actual physical crane next to it. He knows that this is, an administration defined by ignorance of the world. And so that's partly him playing to their base and playing to their audience, the credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump, that wants to think that Donald Trump's a smart one, and y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling.
You hear they fake accents?
You're reading.
Yeah, you're reading, your geography, knowing other countries, sipping your latte.
All those lines on the map.
Only them elitists know where Ukraine is. Sorry, I apologize. But by the way,
oh my God!
But you know what? But it was Rick's fault. I blame Rick. But in all honesty, blame Rick. NPR should
Why not? Sorry, hold on. Wait.
Can I tell
give me a second. Hold on. Sorry. That was good. Sorry, Rick. That was a good one. I needed that. Okay, so listen.
Okay, so yeah, this is CNN. They let it all out right there, how they feel about those 63 million people who voted for President Trump. And it's going to be many more this time will be voting for him. That's how they feel about over 60 million Americans. And, this President Trump's talking about cutting off funding for public radio. National public radio funding should be cut off. I don't know. I guess there was a time when public radio needed funding. But it's become a political weapon, public radio. And this exchange between Pompeo and the NPR reporter, I don't know how much of it is true or not. if it's 100% true, I don't care. You know, I like the idea of Pompeo being rough and using profanity because he's the chief negotiator in these important things going on with North Korea and elsewhere. And I kind of like the idea that our Secretary of State is a real S-kicker. You know what the S stands for? I can't say it on the radio. And if he talked that way to the NPR reporter, I love it. And you know what? Pompeo's right. Americans do not care about Ukraine. Why do you think the left care about Ukraine? Think about it. Why do liberals care about Ukraine? Why do Democrats care about Ukraine? It's pretty simple, I'll tell you. Democrats care about Ukraine because they're raping it. Look at Biden. And I've even seen stories that Pelosi's kids got some deals over there. They're raping and profiteering off of Ukraine and this war that they're in with Mother Russia. And liberals around the country support Ukraine because they think they're supposed to, because CNN tells them that it's important. Okay, that's why. I was talking to a liberal Al the other day on the air, and I was explaining to him that Putin's position with Ukraine is much like Lincoln's position was during the Civil War. Ukraine was part of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. It was part of the Union, the Soviet Union. And Putin's position is Ukraine is Russia. It was part of the Union, and you don't have a right to leave the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Lincoln's position was the southern states had no right to leave the Union. It's a similar position. I'm not saying that Putin's right. I don't care. And why should we? Who cares in this country? Why should we care? The only reason we care in this country, people care about Ukraine, is because people like Joe Biden are stealing and making themselves millionaires many times over, raping Ukraine like the Clintons did with Haiti. Similar thing. And these liberals around the country, take a map that is not labeled, no lines, no nothing, go on the street and say, find Ukraine. Be pretty difficult for a lot of people to do. Right. It would be, wouldn't it? And so far as NPR funding, National Public Radio and public television are so overfunded. I did a couple quick things real quick, because we're coming up on the top of the hour, so in a couple minutes, I'll tell you real quick. I had friends that worked in regular radio and had good paying jobs in private radio here in Miami. I knew one guy in particular. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to cause him any grief, but I knew one guy in particular who was one of the top guys in news and sports in the Miami radio market when it was hot. And he left and went and took a job for public radio. That tells you everything you need to know. Public radio pays better than the top job at one of the number one stations in Miami at the time. This was in the 90s. I know he's still over there, so I don't want to say his name and get him jammed up. Because you know how these liberals are. Not that we were good friends, but, But that's how it is. There was about 10 years ago, might have even been a little more, 10 or 15 years ago, National Public Radio built themselves new offices and studios in Washington, D.C., and they invited the media for the grand opening and gave a tour. And there was an article, I read this article on the air, I couldn't believe. They had the most expensive equipment, so many studios and sound booths. They even had, I'm not kidding you, they had this special organic kitchen to serve food to all the workers at public radio, and they served fresh honey. Do you know where public radio in Washington, D.C. got the fresh honey to serve in their cafeteria in Washington, D.C. at their new studios and offices? I am not making this up. There was a big article about this at the time. I read it on the air. I was in shock. Where do you think they got the fresh honey for the National Public Radio break room? Where do you think? The beekeeper, of course. They had a beekeeper on staff with beehives on the roof of the building, and he would bring the fresh honey every day. They had a beekeeper on. What radio station has a beekeeper on staff? National Public Radio in Washington, D.C. I'm not making it up. That's how extreme they are. They're so overfunded. I don't, I run things literally on bubble gum and spit around here. The last two sound bites I played, I said I have my iPad. I put my iPad up to the microphone to play the last two sound bites I played. Don't have budgets for beekeepers, but public radio did. And they may still have, I don't know if they still have the beekeeper or not. I don't know, but they did. And yeah, it's taxpayer funded. Now, that's not to say that there are not good things on public radio. I enjoy radio a lot. That's why I got into radio. And there are things like that I've liked over the years on public radio. Garrison Keillor, who they ran off of public radio because he flirted with girls. I'm sorry, the war on heterosexual men. But most of what public radio is, it's like CNN and MSNBC. It is weaponized news, and it's one of the biggest scams out there. And there's been talk since the Reagan era of cutting funding to public radio and public television, for that matter. Public television, really, the only purpose public television used to serve is when I was a kid, for children's programming. Sesame Street, the Electric Company, things like that. But back then, when I was a kid, you didn't have Nickelodeon and Disney Channel. You didn't have places where you could go during the day, during the week, and catch children's programming. You had Saturday morning cartoons. I used to call it Cartoon Day when I was a little kid, and there was no children's programming on during the day, during the week. And public television served a purpose then, but then it became profitable. Right? A lot of their properties became very profitable. SeaWorld in Orlando, Florida here has an entire Sesame Street section. It's brand new, licensed through public television. They pay them. They pay them. Public radio and public television is left-wing propaganda. It's been weaponized. I like Nova. Any of you guys watch Nova on PBS? Nova would do fine on the Discovery Channel would pick up Nova. Same thing goes for public radio. So when President Trump talks about cutting funding for public radio after this weaponization of it that came out with the Pompeo exchange is right on the money. There's no need for it in 2020. It should be cut. Should be cut. Boom. Gone. They're on over 700 radio stations. Public radio is on more radio stations than Rush Limbaugh. Last count I heard was close to 800. I don't know what the exact count is today, but it was over 700 last time I looked a couple years back. All right, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. 1 hour down, 2 to go. We'll be back right after this.
FM 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors. That's how. At 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Are you experiencing a loss of your sexual desire as well as your ability to have sex, period? This is Dr. Mitchell Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. I am pleased to tell you about the latest breakthrough in sexual enhancement for women.
What's number one on Google News?
O-Shot. And it will change your life. Increased sexual desire, increased sensitivity, and increased stimulation all can be yours with a simple, safe, and painless procedure done in our office in a matter of minutes. As an added benefit, the procedure is also effective in controlling urinary incontinence. If you are interested in better and more pleasurable sex, call my office today at 953-5490, area code 561-953-5490, and ask about the O-Shot.
who only
If you
cares about
suffer with
himself.
diabetes, there's a
And he said
25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the sole authority today, 954-597-7060.
This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
You're listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1. Now, Steve.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Come meet me, Brian Craig, and Steve Kane today at Attorney Barry Siegel's 2 workshops. Steve will be at the 10 a.m. workshop, which is, of course, at the Courtyard by Marriott on Medicaid planning. I'll be there at the 2 p.m. Revocable Living Trust workshop, both at the Courtyard by Marriott. And the Courtyard by Marriott, located in Boca Raton, immediately west of I-95 on the north side of Glades Road. And we'll see you there. Steve at 10, I'll be there at 2. Let me get to a couple sound bites here. Yesterday was just a devastating blow to the media. Pam Bondi, with her video presentation, just destroyed all their hopes and their dreams with this impeachment trial. And not only that, you know, the media meltdown occurred because of that, but also because Pam Bondi did the very brilliant, egoless way of making her point. She did everything through playing clips from the mainstream liberal media. She had the liberal media in the impeachment trial supporting and defending Trump about the corruption of Joe Biden and his family. And that really they had this meltdown. Did you see this exchange between a reporter and Ted Cruz? Oh my goodness, let me play this. This is Ted Cruz press conference of senators, Republican senators, after the events yesterday, and the reporter is referencing Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and all that corruption. Listen.
Senator, over those 2 hours, none of the president's attorneys mentioned one single possible crime that Hunter or Joe Biden are accused of. Basically, what they said is Hunter Biden got a job. That was vice president. If that's a crime, I mean, shouldn't half of your children be in prison?
My children are 9 and 11, and I'm sorry that you want to throw a 9-year-old in prison, but at this point, my third grader plays basketball and softball at her school, so stop playing the nasty, stop playing the nasty Washington game.
I'm sorry, that's not nasty Washington game.
Attacking a 9-year-old?
Senator, I have no idea.
All right.
Well, you know, the interesting thing about that is I'm not sure anybody know who that reporter is. I haven't seen them ID'd yet. If anybody knows who they are, let me know. This is a very interesting thing with that reporter. He said, this isn't the nasty Washington game, your 9 and 11-year-old or 13-year-old. See, you know, I've been talking about this a lot. Joe Biden does not believe he's corrupt. He's so corrupt, he believes his corruption is just how things are done in Washington. This is what everyone does. And not just him, the media. So the media see this incredible presentation by the great Pam Bondi in her very shiny dress. And they don't see any corruption there because they just figure, like Biden figures, every senator, every member of the House, all the members of Congress do this. Well, maybe a lot of them do, but not all of them. And the media just assume everyone in Washington is corrupt. That's why I say, well, what's the big deal here? Aren't your kids at age 9 and 11 doing the same thing? It doesn't even occur to the press that what Biden has done is corrupt crimes, abusing his office. So, and you know, President Trump, I believe, would have been negligent if he wouldn't have brought up Biden's corruption to the Ukrainians. Because don't forget, Biden was abusing the White House and the presidency, even though he wasn't president. He said, call Barack Obama up. Remember, Biden said, they said, you're just the vice president. You don't have the authority. You said, you want to bet? Call Obama. He'll back me up. Remember that? Get him on the phone right now. Remember that? He said that in the audio. So Joe Biden was abusing the power, authority, and prestige of the office that Donald Trump now holds, the presidency of the United States, the White House. So here when you've got in the previous administration, the Obama administration, you've got the White House sending the vice president to Ukraine and running a shakedown operation against them. I think Donald Trump was duty-bound to let the Ukrainians know the White House is no longer corrupt. No shakedowns here. And maybe you should look into the corruption that was done using my office by the previous administration. And I love how the media, this really blows my mind with the media. The media don't think what Biden did was corrupt. But to ask about Biden's corruption, well, that's corruption. That's basically what they're saying. Yeah, but when you take over an office that's been vacated by a corrupt public official, and you're holding an office, the presidency of the United States, that Ukraine, which is an important country, they tell us, I think Russia's more important. But anyway, they did such a great job helping us win the election. We owe it to Russia. The Democrats are like, yeah, see, I told you, Russia. But no, when you take over the job that was previously held by someone who was corrupt, Barack Obama and Joe Biden, and you're dealing with the victims of the corruption in the previous office holder, shouldn't you go out of your way to let the victims know that that office is no longer corrupt? Because so far as the Ukrainians knew, the White House was just corrupt, and they were running a shakedown. And they were raping our country and stealing from our country, because that's what Biden was doing. Just like the Clintons in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation. Instead of the Clinton Foundation, Biden was just using the office of president and vice president of the United States. And he'd done it many, many times, according to Peter Schweitzer. So no, Trump was obligated to let the Ukrainians know the White House is no longer corrupt. We are not here to shake you down. We are not here to rip you off. We are not here to intimidate you. We're just here to help you. And we want you to know. And if you want to investigate the corrupt people that held this office prior to me, go ahead. What's wrong with that? Anybody have a problem with that that's not a Democrat? I mean, what would be wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Who's the least liked Republican congressperson? Who do you think? I'll narrow it down. They're in the Senate. Used to be John McCain. Republicans, we hated John McCain. But who's the new John McCain? Who do Republicans dislike the most among Republicans in the United States Senate? It's a pretty easy question. His name's Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is a creep. So here you have John Bolton, who's dishonored himself by not correcting the record about his book. His book is either filled with lies, or he's allowing his publisher through their PR firm to spread lies about it, or he's letting the media spread lies about his book. Here we are now, 2 days in to these stories coming out of the New York Times on John Bolton's book, and he has not corrected the record. Has he even tweeted? Let me look at his Twitter real quick. Let me see if John Bolton has tweeted. Let's see here. Do I follow him, I wonder, on Twitter? Oh, I misspelled Bolton. Here we go. I hit 2 O's by accident. Let's see. When did he last tweet? He tweeted yesterday about Holocaust Remembrance Day. Nothing about the book or the comments from the book. And you know what? I follow John Bolton. You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to unfollow him. Unfollow. I just unfollowed John Bolton on Twitter. You should do the same, too. He has 910,000 followers. Well, now he has 999,999. He's got one less than me, since I just unfollowed him. So, John Bolton, see, this is an interesting thing. See, I don't believe what's being reported about John Bolton's book is true. I don't believe it's true. And John Bolton's silence about his book and what's being said about it tells me that it's not true. Because if it was true, he'd be out there talking about it. But he doesn't want to be... See, John Bolton's book is not yet available. The only people that have seen it, supposedly, are the New York Times and Colonel Vindman's brother at the National Security Council. You can order it, but it's a pre-order. So no one's read the book. So we only have the good word and reputation of the New York Times, right, to trust that what they're reporting about Bolton's book is true. And here we are now, 2 days into this, and John Bolton hasn't commented on all these stories about his book. He tweeted yesterday about the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, and before that, his most previous tweet was a week ago, 6 days ago. So to me, that's evidence that it's not true. He doesn't want to go on the right. See, John Bolton doesn't want to lie, so he's ignoring it. And he also doesn't want to correct the record because he doesn't want to stop the huge sales that he's doing on pre-order right now. See, I've never pre-ordered a book. I've bought many a book on Amazon, but I always wait till they're out. I don't pre-order because I'll forget. Oh, that was coming. I'm not into pre-ordering. I might change my mind and not be interested by the time it comes out. I don't know. I've never pre-ordered a book, but what I learned yesterday is that when you pre-order a book, you can cancel the pre-order and get refunded. I didn't know that. So John Bolton's book is #1 on Amazon among pre-orders, I promise you. I haven't seen that reported, but I promise you. It's getting too much publicity for 2 days now. If John Bolton comes out and says, no, what the New York Times is reporting is not true, all these stories are not true, that is not in my book, not only do the pre-orders stop, but a lot of people that pre-ordered will cancel it and get refunded. So what John Bolton is doing right now, he's trying to act like he's not doing anything wrong. He's like George Zimmerman, who goes around and starts fights with people and then they end up dead. Right? I didn't do anything. He attacked me. All right, Zimmerman. It's like the time he got assaulted by his wife. He brought his girlfriend over to the house, and his wife got pissed off. I don't know what happened. I just brought my mistress over. I don't know why my wife's going crazy and breaking things. That's Zimmerman, right? That's what John Bolton's doing right now, right? He's not commenting, so he hasn't lied. He hasn't misrepresented at all, but he also hasn't corrected the record, so the book's selling like crazy on pre-orders. He's a creep. He's a creep with his funny mustache. How the hell does he eat with that mustache? I would never want to have a meal with John Bolton with that mustache. Probably gets filled with all the food he's eating. He's a real lowlife. And for him to tweet about Holocaust Remembrance Day and ignore all this worldwide news about him tells you everything you need to know about John Bolton. He's a lowlife. Never to be trusted again. So, I just looked at the clock. So I'll take our break, and when we get back, I'll get into some of the audio sound bites that I haven't yet played. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. We'll take a break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences, up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. With the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to 1 pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had 2 ball tires in the back of my Infinity. So I called him up. I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price. And not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, they're twice as good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire,
make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, all right?
Balance the tire or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for Doug.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. And here's the man, Conservative Doug, radio star now. Hey, Doug.
Hi. Hey, good morning. That was a good commercial.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah.
Anyway, this John Bolton guy, all he says in his book is that Trump said, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
If he didn't want to, but he did, so what the hell's the difference with what John Bolton says in his book? You know, I think everybody's going to be really disappointed. It is getting blown out of proportion, I think.
Yeah.
Out of the mole, really.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think John Bolton's a lowlife letting this hang out there. He's a man of low moral character. He's a man without honor, and I'm pretty surprised at him.
Well, you know, money changes people. You know, he's getting his books.
Do you really think John Bolton is hurting for money? Come on.
I mean, he's prostituting himself to get some money. But.
And when he tweeted out yesterday about Holocaust Memorial Day, the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, you know, what a cowardly thing that was, too. He's one of the most talked about men in America today, and really in the world, because it's in the global news, and he doesn't even comment on it, which tells you, in my opinion, that what's being reported about the book is not true. He doesn't want to lie. He just wants it to hang out there to sell the pre-orders on his book. It doesn't come out till March.
Man, if that turns out to be the case, then he really is blowing it. Anybody give us?
Well, you know what it sounds like. It sounds like that that book that came out about Trump, that first book. Remember, the guy made everything up. Remember, it's a very similar narrative we're getting out here.
Anything.
Michael Wolff. It was that Wolff book. Yeah.
President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, and then talk about something. Did you see here? What's his name? I forgot his name now. They're talking yesterday, Dershowitz.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear his thing? You know, sounds like an intelligent guy, but then turns out he voted for Hillary, and then he has to get a little political. Well, I don't like Trump's policies on climate change, so vote him out.
Well, what I don't get about Dershowitz is a strong supporter of Israel. Why would he support a political party that has been anti-Israel for as long as I've been following things?
Yeah.
I mean, look at how excited look at how excited Netanyahu gets around President Trump. You know the question for Dershowitz, because he said yesterday he voted for Hillary, but is he going to vote for Trump this time? I bet he does.
Yeah, I would hope so, because first of all, there's no candidate on the Democrat side that would vote for now. Joe Biden, I don't think so.
Yeah. Have you been outside? Have you been outside today? Hey Doug, have you been outside today? I went outside during the break. Have you been outside today?
Yeah, I am.
I just went outside during the commercial break, and it was such thick fog. Is it foggy where you are?
Terribly foggy, terribly.
And, it is really foggy here in South Florida right now, at least in the part I'm at. And, I mean, it was really thick fog. I could not see the building across the street. The fog is so thick, and I see people driving in it. And I wouldn't want to be driving in this right now. And if I had a kid, I wouldn't put him on a school bus in this fog, But Kobe Bryant was flying in it over the weekend, fog like this.
I've been in fog a lot worse than this. This is bad, but I've been in fog because you couldn't see right in front of your car.
I was once on a school bus when I was in 7th grade, and it was a foggy day, very foggy, like really thick fog, and we were driving to school, and a semi-truck came by and ripped the side view mirror right off the bus. Scared the hell. The driver pulled over, wouldn't go the rest of the way, Because the fog, yeah. I mean, and you look at Kobe Bryant flying in this fog right into the side of a mountain. There's a TMZ has some new footage of the crash. Have you seen the photographs of the site? They have pictures of the helicopter burning. Oh my gosh, it looks like a oil refinery fire. The flames.
Way to go, man. Poor guy.
Well, if you hit a mountain going 180 miles an hour, you probably don't know what hit you, I would hope. You think Obama's going to be at the funeral doing the eulogy for Kobe?
Geez, I don't know. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. It's pretty brutal. But, I mean, look at those of you here in South Florida, look outside at all of this fog. Could you imagine, and I know everyone's driving slow right now. People are probably driving slower than normal on the roads. Could you imagine getting into a helicopter and fog and flying like this? That's in a mountainous area, in mountains.
I was in Hawaii, and my wife wanted to go to the volcano in a helicopter. I said, "No, you're out of your mind. I'm not going to that thing."
No way.
So I won't go in a helicopter.
No way. All right. Hey, listen. Take care. Conservative Doug. Great job on that commercial for Friendly Tire, by the way, that Conservative Doug helped me out with. That was yesterday's call. He called in yesterday talking about his experience to turn it into a commercial. We got a lot of our listeners are like in competition to be in commercials now, because we've got that great one with Richie the bus driver for Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Now I've got 2 of our listeners doing commercials for Friendly Tire from their call-ins. And you never know. You call in, you got something good to say, you may find yourself in a commercial too. So anyway, the most disliked Republican senator is Mitt Romney by far. I mean, just, and it's amazing about Mitt Romney, because I always thought Mitt Romney was a nice guy and a together guy. And he is not. Mitt Romney is the most pathetically insecure person at that level. I mean, he's had it all. He's been governor. He's a United States senator. He's worth $250 million. He has a house in California with a garage that has an elevator in it. He goes out to his garage and he pushes and he just scrolls through, decides what car he's going to drive by having them come up on the elevator to this guy's got everything you can imagine. And he's still a tiny little pathetic little man who has Trump derangement syndrome like Chris Wallace has. So these lies come out, this fake news comes out of the New York Times about John Bolton's book. And again, I'm sticking by that it's lies because I haven't seen John Bolton say anything about it. So he's letting it hang out there, right? So I think it's all lies. So Mitt Romney comes out yesterday because of the John Bolton revelations and says this, creep.
That I hope to be able to hear from John Bolton. I think with the story that came out yesterday, it's increasingly apparent that it would be important to hear from John Bolton. I, of course, will make a final decision on witnesses after we've heard from not only the prosecution but also the defense. But I think at this stage it's pretty fair to say that John Bolton has a relevant testimony to provide to those of us who are sitting in impartial justice.
It is clear to you that the president did try to tie aid to asking for investigations of Biden. For you, is that enough to say that the president should be convicted for abuse of power?
I can't begin to tell you how John Bolton's testimony would.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he got Romney's looking for an excuse. And I'm sorry that not only did I vote for Mitt Romney, I supported Mitt Romney. We've had him on the show a couple of times. I supported him. I voted for him. I defended him. How many of you defended Mitt Romney? Remember they used to talk to him about the racism in the Mormon church and how he had the dog and the pet carrier on the roof of the car, on the family trips and all that stuff. Remember all those things? And that thing about the Mitt Romney, a story came out, for those that don't know, when he was running for president. Mitt Romney used to take family vacations by car. And he had a pet carrier that he would put on the top of his car, and the family dog wouldn't ride in the car. It would ride in this pet carrier on the roof of the car. And how many of us defended Mitt Romney through that? I mean, sometimes I'm driving down the road, I'll be on the turnpike, and I'll see people have luggage strapped to the roof of the car, and I'm thinking, that is so, I would never. I've got a luggage rack on the top of my car. I never have used it. I never will use it. To me, it's just cosmetic. No way. Can you imagine putting your family dog on the roof of your car and driving down the highway at 80 miles an hour? I don't even know how that works. And Romney did it, and we defended it. All of us defended it because we wanted to beat Barack Obama. And now and what he's doing now is, and he's looking for an excuse. Remember when he addressed the nation and dressed down President Trump? No presidential nominee had ever done such a thing. And he did it. He's just a little man with perfect hair. Not one hair out of place, but he is a pathetic little man. He's as small as John McCain. Really. He really truly is. Listen, it's 7:30 in the morning. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take a break and be back. Don't go anywhere.
From excruciating back pain or sciatica.
Steve Kane Show.
Tell you, according to a study in the medical journal Spine, back surgeries to alleviate back pain frequently backfire, leaving the patient in more pain than before they had the surgery. A second study from the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine provides clear evidence that 74% of surgeries for back pain fail. But there is an end to your suffering. There's a solution to your problem waiting for you with Dr. Troy Lemaski. Dr. Troy Lemaski is my personal chiropractor, and if the name sounds familiar, it should. He's the brother of Dr. Janae Lemaski. Dr. Troy specializes in the elimination of back pain, sciatica, joint pain. He does it quickly, easily, and without surgery or pain medication. While he can help you with your back and neck pain, Dr. Troy also provides treatment for the hips, the shoulders, the knees. If you've been in a car accident, any type of injury, or slip and fall, the pain won't go away, well, if you want to get back to your old self, you want to call Dr. Troy. His number 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. Online at drtroylemaski.com. Tell him that Steve Kane sent you.
This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. And again, today's the big day. Attorney Barry Siegel's 2 workshops. Come meet Steve Kane at 10 at the Medicaid Planning Workshop. And me, Brian Craig, I'll be there at the 2 o'clock Revocable Living Trust Workshop that Attorney Barry Siegel is putting together. These are spectacular workshops. You all should attend. You really should. You'll learn a lot, and you'll protect yourself and your family's future. I promise you. And again, they're both at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca Raton, the Courtyard by Marriott immediately west of I-95 on the north side of Glades Road in Boca. I'll see you at 2. Steve Kane will be there with you at 10. All right, let's go to the phones. Mike, you're on the radio.
How you doing, Brian?
All right.
You know, you talking about Mitt Romney. He's not just the most hated guy, but he's a bitter man. He's bitter because Trump won and he didn't.
Yeah.
Called him out on it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he can't get over it. Well, President Trump did tease him, too. He invited him out to dinner in New York and all that stuff. He did tease him a little bit, and he stirred the pot a little bit. But I think Mitt Romney deserved a little humiliation after he addressed the nation the way he did to try to undermine President Trump and help Hillary Clinton win the presidency.
Right. And here's what's odd about Romney.
But the Justice Department decided...
Trump because, remember, he went in there and he went into the American Olympic Association and cleaned up a notoriously corrupt situation there. You know?
I don't know. He always goes around bragging that he organized the Salt Lake Olympics. Okay, all right. I watched them. They were okay. I don't know what that means. Did you see this exchange between Chris Wallace and Katie Pavlich on Fox News Channel yesterday?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back.
Oh, I'm gonna play for it. You know, yesterday the mainstream media, the Trump derangement syndrome was just really bad. And I was talking yesterday after Pam Bondi spoke. I turned over to CNN, and Jake Tapper was there with his panel. There were about 10 or 12 people, and it was like a support group for those suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. It was a Trump derangement syndrome support group led by Jake Tapper as the facilitator. And I almost expected when they came back for Jake Tapper to say, "My name is Jake. I've suffered with Trump derangement syndrome since 2015. You know what I mean? Like an AA meeting. It was like that. And Chris Wallace yesterday just had a total meltdown with his Trump derangement syndrome. He's there with the very smart, beautiful Katie Pavlich, and he just had a meltdown. Listen, this is Chris Wallace yesterday with Katie Pavlich, and it's, if I can get the audio to play. Come on, play. I need some of that NPR money. Here we go.
Decided not to investigate, and that is why it went to the House. So to say that in the Clinton investigation that these people were interviewed by the House, one, they weren't, and to say that it wasn't done by the Justice.
Now, see, that silence.
Done by
Wait,
the
hold on.
Justice Department because the Justice Department refused to carry out the investigation. Get your facts straight.
Okay, let's talk about some of the facts here, Chris. The point is that...
Okay, so get your facts straight, Katie Pavlich. And the mic went dead there for a second. The control room cut his mic off, and Brett Baer cut in with Martha McCallum, and Brett Baer said, tone it down a little bit. I mean, Brett Baer was like intervening because he saw a woman being battered by Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace just had a meltdown when he sees the impeachment hopes of removing this president fading away. He lost control yesterday on the air.
Think about this. He's replaced, now, he's not in charge of the entire news division, but he's replaced the guy that was there.
Oh, Shepard Smith? No, he is not. See, that's part of the problem. See, Bill Hemmer, I love Bill. By the way, I saw Bill Hemmer yesterday. It looks like he's dyeing his hair. His hair's a different color than it was last week, Bill Hemmer. It looks like he's putting in highlights or something. But Chris Wallace was on with Shepard Smith every afternoon. And since they announced that Bill Hemmer got that job, and since Bill Hemmer started a week ago, he started last Monday, Chris Wallace has really lost it. And Chris Wallace, I think, wanted that job. He thought he should get the job, and he's lost his lunch because he got Well, he got sidelined in place of Bill Hemmer. I'm telling you, Chris Wallace's days are numbered at Fox. They're going to get rid of him.
Oh, yeah. And
Steve Kane show.
If people don't understand where Chris Wallace came from, his dad is Mike Wallace.
Well, that's the only reason he's on TV. I'm telling you, he's just like Meghan McCain. He's on TV. But see, Chris Wallace doesn't tell himself, well, I'm only on TV, national TV, because my family name. He's like, he's like, part of the problem he has is Chris Wallace relates to Hunter Biden, right? Hunter Biden's a bum with a lot of vices, strippers, drugs, everything, right? And he only has things because of his daddy, but he's aware of that. He doesn't seem to care as long as he's got his money for his strippers and his smack. Chris Wallace, he's just like Hunter Biden. He's only there because of that last name, Wallace, his daddy. And so he relates to Hunter Biden. He feels like he's a Hunter Biden. And he feels that when people turn on Fox News and they're looking at Chris Wallace, they're thinking Hunter Biden. That's part of what this is about. It's beyond Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Yep, Steve Kane show.
Yeah. He absolutely does have that.
Hold on.
Like I said, it's beyond that.
Yeah. All right, Mike, take care. Thanks for the call. All right. Good morning. You are on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Warren calling from Delray.
Oh, hey, Warren. Yes.
To what you were saying, and I think perhaps you're taking like TV reporter types or media people in general a little too serious. Most of them are no better than you or I. They just happen to have played the game long enough to have gotten there. And the best of news people are supposed to be neutral in their reportage. Of course, one of the ways they bias things is by the choice of things that they choose.
Well, I don't know. All these vague generalities. Chris Wallace is on Fox because he's got a famous name, right? In the news business, correct? Well, what about Hunter Biden? Was Hunter Biden on the Burisma board because he's got a famous last name? It would help, just like it helped Chris Wallace. So, when I saw yesterday Chris Wallace lose it with Katie Pavlich to a point where Brett Baer had to calm things down and tell him to cool it, all I could think of was, from a psychological perspective, is that Chris Wallace sees a lot of himself in Hunter Biden. He relates to Hunter.
About Hunter Biden on
Yeah, but before you call a radio show, you should have an opinion. You don't seem very opinionated.
good journalists should do.
Oh, you're a journalist now?
May I answer? Be opinionated about things about which I have little.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you have knowledge of that you can give an opinion on? Give an opinion on something. Hey, Neil, how you doing?
I have some.
Guys, subscribe to UK Neil on YouTube. Well, what do you have expertise in that's relevant to the program that you could give an interesting opinion on?
Medical care.
Medical care? We're not talking about medical. I'm talking about the issues in the news. No. There's a lot of things in the news, okay? But we don't talk about everything in the news. I'm talking about something that's relevant to the program. Something that's relevant to the program. The impeachment trial of the president. You have no opinions about these things?
I can only get you in the car, and I was getting the rerun, so I have
Yeah.
while I'm waiting.
Excuses.
Catch up on what is.
Where are you driving to? Right, you're in the car right now?
No, I'm at home base in Chamber of Fantasy.
You're at home in a chamber of fantasy. What does that mean? You got a comic book collection in the closet? How is your home a chamber of secrets or whatever you call it? A chamber of fantasy sounds like a sex dungeon. Are you one of those dominatrix type guys?
Complete collection of Marvel Comics print items worldwide, which I've used for many research projects.
In your closet? What oh wow.
Movie memorabilia.
What is your what is the value of your comic book collection?
It is priceless. You could call the big office.
No, if you went on eBay, if you went to sell your comics on eBay, what would the value be?
A triple autograph, first printing, one of 5 known Marvel Comics #1. Only one signed by the creator of the Human Torch. What's it worth? You'd never know until auction time.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So if you were to put your comic books on eBay, what do you think you could fetch for them on eBay?
Have no. It would be a huge amount, but you wouldn't know. I wouldn't put them on eBay anyway. I do business with one of the biggest.
Do you sell your comics? Do you sell your comics, or do you just keep them? No, I was interrupting you because you were boring me. I didn't drop out. I was interrupting you. You're boring. So do you sell your comics, or do you just keep them?
Pardon me?
Do you ever sell your comics, or do you keep them?
Doubles.
Okay, when is the last time you sold one of your precious books?
I've sold some decommissioned original art.
When is the last time you sold one of your comic books? When is the last time you sold one of your comic books? When is the last time you sold a comic book of yours?
Oh, I don't sell anything out of the collection, not the books, no.
So you just surround yourself with little kid comic books?
Build the archive. I do book and magazine projects.
Yeah.
Plays at conventions.
You go to yeah.
Nature.
Well, you know, the great Stan Lee, who Steve Kane once had dinner with in New York, talked about comic books and their value, not long before his death. Why did Stan Lee say comic books, the old comic books, are valuable?
I never heard his talking about that. Now, I was on radio with Stan and with Jack.
With Stan and Jack Kirby, I know. Just like you're on the radio with me, right, on the phone. Now, he said the reason the old comic books are valuable is because they didn't print that many and people didn't collect them. Like now, if you go to a comic book store, I go to the comic book store on occasion. I've got nothing against comics. I love comics. I love fantasy. I love all that stuff and science fiction, you know. And I'll go and I'll see the guys there that are my age, and they buy a comic book. They buy 2 copies of every book they buy. Why do they buy 2 copies? Why do they buy 2 copies?
Because they're Meshuggah. Because they...
Well, the copies are for different things. Why do they have 2 copies? Yeah, but try to answer me in less than 10,000 words. I'll tell you, because you'll take forever to get there, and I got to get to a break. They buy 2 copies. One is the reading copy, and the one will never be touched by their hands that they put in the plastic and hold. Comic books are basically worth nothing because for the past 30 years, every guy that buys a comic book buys 2 copies of every one, and it never leaves the plastic in that little white box like you have in your closet filled with comic books. So the reason you probably don't sell your collection is because the collection you have really isn't worth anything.
Couldn't tell that I handled them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it came into...
Yes, it came into the collection. All right, take care, take care. Oh, my goodness. It's time for a break. Oh, my gosh. Oh, boy. Talk about a guy who has the ability to derail a radio show. Oh, my goodness. My name's Brian. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take a break and be back. Don't go anywhere.
Attention homeowners, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm here to cut your electric bill and save you a lot of money.
Yeah, I do have patience.
Altogether, we do this by making your entire home energy efficient, by upgrading some or all of the following: roofs, doors, windows, insulating your attic, AC systems and ducts, hot water heaters, and even adding solar. Energy efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves over a short period of time. Our program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all or part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, and no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be current on your mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
Well, you can subscribe over here. Stick with us here.
Or buy your dream home. Then call LaBella Real Estate. LaBella Real Estate love President Trump. And like Donald Trump, LaBella Real Estate want to get you the highest dollar amount when selling your home. And when looking for a new home, LaBella Real Estate will find you the best deal. LaBella Real Estate have over 20 years of experience in real estate and mortgages. And they are very knowledgeable about the South Florida real estate market. If it's a condo, single-family home, a luxury home, LaBella Real Estate can help. Buying or selling, call LaBella Real Estate at 561-445-7023. 561-445-7023. And online, LaBellaRealEstateLLC.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Oh, man, how would you like to feel better, have more energy, have your sex drive back, feel like you did when you were in your early to mid-20s? Who doesn't want to feel that way? Who doesn't want to have all that? Well, you can. Men and women, call Dr. Mitch Metez. He's an anti-aging doctor. Dr. Metez will, with hormone replacement pellet therapy, restore your hormone levels to where they were when you were in your 20s. He's done it to me, and it's spectacular. I have loads of energy. I don't need as much sleep. I don't have the midday crashes. If you have problems in the erectile dysfunction area, hormone replacement pellet therapy, that's your solution right there. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will give you the ability to not only get an erection on demand and as required, but the ability to maintain it. It'll also restore your sex drive. And that goes for women too. Hormone replacement pellet therapy in women restores your sex drive, reverses the signs and symptoms of menopause, including the mood swings and the night sweats, and also reverses the vaginal dryness that makes sex painful or impossible for women. Call Dr. Mitch Metez. It's a completely free consultation for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And online, hormonetherapybocaratone.com. Steve Kane Show. Okay, all right. See, I'm doing 5 things at once here. If you watch on the live stream on YouTube, you can see me do. I'm talking, I'm answering the phones, I'm doing spots. All right, let's go to Lewis. Lewis, you're on the radio.
Syndrome, the derangement of the left. Here's how out of control it's getting. I tripped across an article last night going on up at Yale University. Their introduction to art program that has produced over the decades and decades. The curators of the finest art museums in the country all go to this program. This is the one they strive to go to. The university, in all its infinite this radical wisdom, is now taking that program and getting rid of it because it's been protested how it concentrates too much on the Renaissance period and the art of what were the privileged European white men. And they're going to take this program now and they're going to diversify it.
Yeah, I saw that. It's too white because it's based on the artwork that is the backbone of the culture of Western civilization, of which America is Western civilization. So they're taking away our history because it's too white. Yeah.
It's just its own version of the leftist Islamic State.
There was a similar story over the weekend. There's some new novel. I'd forgotten the title of it, but there's a new novel that's a hip novel among liberals, and it's about a woman in Mexico who has to hire coyotes to bring her and her child to America. And this book is like, everyone's talking about it in liberal circles. I mean, on Huffington Post, they just love it. You know what I mean? The Washington Post, New York Times readership, they just love this new novel about a woman's journey across the border illegally with her child. The author apologized over the weekend. Why do you think the author apologized for her novel that's loved by the border jumping crowd?
I couldn't begin to guess.
Well, the author is white, and the author said that she wished that this novel could have been written by someone who was browner than her.
Party revamp.
Oh, yeah.
A few weeks ago. I mean, it's just, it won't matter, Brian. It's, look, we want Trump to win, obviously. We don't want any Democrat to ever win, and I don't think it'll matter who wins for the Republican Party beyond Trump, come 2024. The path that they're dragging our society down, making us have to apologize for who we are, and making us have to feel bad for ourselves.
Well, if you take out the Renaissance art, the Renaissance period is, is incredible. If they do away with all of that period in college, teaching about Renaissance art, what do they replace it with?
To replace it with whatever brown or black person culture that they can dig up, themselves feel good.
Yes.
Simply nuts about Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and the rest.
Well, they want to take our culture away from us. One of the reasons the left worked to take down these Civil War monuments is not because of the racism that they connect to it. They want to take down these monuments to wipe out our history and our culture so that they can rewrite it.
And where I fundamentally disagree with that, the only good news that comes out of that is at least they're willing to get rid of the evil of their own party and what they did 150 years ago.
They don't even own up to it. No, they tell you that those were really Republicans. Oh, hey, listen, Lewis, thanks for the call. Yeah, and I'm reading during the break. I saw this on the Drudge Report. This is on the Drudge Report. It's an NBC News story. Listen to this headline. Oh, my God. Sanders can win. And this is the headline. Democrats grapple with Bernie surge in Iowa. Yeah, this is NBC News. The greatest trick Bernie Sanders ever played. Oh, this is like, what is this? Is this plagiarism? Because this first line is Kaiser Sose from, what's that movie? Usual Suspects, right? The greatest trick the devil ever played. Remember with Kevin Spacey? Was convincing the world he didn't exist. Remember that? So this is NBC News and using some plagiarism here. The greatest trick Bernie Sanders ever played was convincing the world he could win. Wait, let me read that again. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. See, I can plagiarize too. All right, anyway, the greatest trick Bernie Sanders ever played was convincing the world the chance he could win didn't exist. So right there, first line, I call plagiarism. That's Usual Suspects. That's Kevin Spacey's line to Chaz Palminteri. Wasn't it Chaz Palminteri? Who was the cop in that? Was it Chaz Palminteri? Maybe, I don't remember. But anyway, it goes on here. The independent senator from Vermont has been running for president for the better part of 5 years. But some Democrats are only now, a week out from the first contest in the 2020 presidential primary season, beginning to come to grips with the fact that he could actually win the nomination. Suddenly, we have the Democratic establishment very nervous about his campaign, NBC News writes. We got Wall Street nervous. Sanders told a crowd of roughly 1,100 Sunday night in Sioux City, Iowa. 1,100. Now, I understand 75,000 people have requested tickets for the next Trump rally, but Bernie Sanders had a crowd of 1,100 in Des Moines, Iowa. Who else had a number close to that in the Democrat field in Iowa? Bernie Sanders' 1,100 might be greater than the combined audiences for all the other Democrats in Iowa. We are their worst nightmare, Bernie Sanders said to his crowd of 1,100. Next Monday's caucus remain a toss-up according to the polls, but Sanders has taken the lead in several recent surveys of Iowa and New Hampshire and continues to be the Democrat field's best fundraiser without having faced the same intensity of incoming fire as some other candidates like Elizabeth Warren. A Bernie Sanders win could turn the Democratic Party upside down, much as Donald Trump's victory did for the GOP in 2016. But how could virtually no one see Sanders coming when he nearly overturned the party establishment 4 years ago when he came within a whisker of winning Iowa? It's because the Democrat mainstream media, they've been lying to themselves. I've been talking about this for a while. Bernie Sanders has had crowds of a couple of thousand at every event in Iowa. He's had the largest crowds by far, 1,100, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000. He's been turning out thousands of people everywhere he goes. Now, these aren't Trump-sized crowds, mind you, but there's still crowds. The other ones, I've seen pictures of Biden events with empty rooms. Haven't you? Yeah. Yeah. So they've believed their own nonsense. And Bernie Sanders is the true Democrat Party front runner by far. Iowa Citizens for Community Improvements, Hugh Espy says they've always wanted to dismiss Bernie Sanders, but they've done so at their own peril. For most of the 2020 primary, everyone from Wall Street to K Street viewed Elizabeth Warren as the more formidable contender, leading a storm of scrutiny when she was surging in the polls last year. Given Sanders' lackluster poll numbers, moderate Democrats and Republicans often built him up as it goes on. See, the polls are all fake. See, and the media have been believing their own fake polls where they prop up their chosen people, and they picked Elizabeth Warren a while back, and the media have been backing Warren. They've been pushing Warren. They've been helping Warren. Remember, at that last debate a couple weeks ago, the so-called hot mic incident, where CNN coordinated with Elizabeth Warren the after-debate conversation with Bernie when she went up and said, I think you called me a liar on national TV, and it just so happened after the event that the mics were clear and pristine and they had great audio of it to make a news cycle out of. The media have been backing Warren, and they've been believing their own fake polls, and Bernie has caught them off guard. And now here we are, less than a week away, and they're panicked now. And if Bernie doesn't win one or both, Iowa and New Hampshire, massive vote fraud, because he has had such large turnouts at every event that he has had in both of these states. All right, listen, let's take our break for the top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll be back with the third and final hour after this.
100.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Adrienne Kane, Steve's daughter, and I want to tell you about my MyPillow mattress. I was talking
Scott, I'll
to
get
Dad,
you after the
and I
break.
was
Yeah, hold
telling
on.
him I wasn't sleeping at night. I was tossing and turning all night long. I had an old, worn-out, lumpy, bumpy mattress that was so uncomfortable. I wasn't getting any sleep. A couple of days later, there was a knock at the door, and it was a MyPillow mattress. I slept on it that night, and ever since I've been sleeping the whole night through. No more tossing, no more turning, and when my alarm goes off in the morning, I'm up and ready to go and well rested. Give your kids, grandkids, spouse, or yourself the gift of a good night's sleep with a MyPillow mattress. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. When you use the promo code KANE, you can save up to $300 off your MyPillow mattress. They come in all sizes, from twin to California king and every size in between. Go to mypillow.com and be sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and give the gift of a MyPillow mattress. Worth its weight in restful sleep.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. This is your special invitation.
I'll do that later in the show.
Singles Free Living Trust Seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This Free Living Trust Seminar is Tuesday, January 28th, from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
You
are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show on the radio since 1977. Third and final hour has begun. You know, among our sponsors, there's a common theme among many of them, and that is saving you money. Lots of money. And on the line from Cut My Kilowatts, Scott, and he's going to tell you how you can save lots of money on your electric bill. Hey, Scott.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Scott. You know, it's the off season for doing work in the attic right now. And a lot of people wait till the heat of summer when they're suffering and their air conditioning's running all day and their air conditioning ducts are starting to condensate, leak. You know, they get all wet in the middle of the summer, and then it's kind of too late because you're like in the prime time, horrible heat of the summer. The phones are ringing off the hooks at our companies, and you know, you're going to pay premium for the service, and a lot of times something that could have been, you know, just sealed up and mapped up and taped up like a duct system or something, if you let it get to the point where it starts getting wet and condensating, you know, and leaking, and it's wet, it has to be taken out and removed. And now you're changing out a whole duct system when you could have got away with maybe a $200-300, you know, tape and seal on the system. You know, it's a very simple, little easy repair.
Mm-hmm.
When you let stuff go, it just grows and grows. And, you know, a lot of people have been in their homes, you know, 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, if you haven't done any insulation work in your home in the last 10 or 15 years, you need it. Your insulation is broken down. It's deteriorated. It's settled out. It's just not working anymore. So you're either paying too much because your AC is running too much to keep your house cool, you know, and
that's right.
Wearing out your AC when it runs all day nonstop and it doesn't get a chance to cycle.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and the key to Florida living in the summer is to have your home properly prepared for the summer. And that means calling Scott at Cut My Kilowatts. He'll do a no-charge inspection of your home, and he'll explain to you how you can save money. And it adds up to a lot of money over time off your electric bill when you take some of the steps that Scott recommends. How can people get a hold of you, Scott?
954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. I'm also on the web at cutmykilowatts.com. And I just want to say my prayers and hopes go out to Donald. I know he's going to prevail here, but, you know, these people, you know, that are persecuting him, and I mean,
oh yeah,
total persecution.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing. I've been in situations like that myself, being a business owner and getting on the wrong side of a government legislation where they just come out with crazy stuff, and you look at them, and you're like, what planet are you on? It's like they get up there on national TV and just show that they're just crazy, foaming.
That's right. Well, listen, guys. So give Scott a call. His number's listed at stevekaneshow.com if you missed it. And while he's got his crew fixing up all the leaks from your air conditioning in your attic and insulation, you guys can talk Trump in the living room while the crew's working. So, all right, Scott, give your number. That's right. No, that's good. That's fine. Give your number one more time, Scott.
954-939.
And that rings directly to Scott. All right, Scott, we'll talk later in the week. That's right. All right, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. And again, his number listed at stevekaneshow.com. And he does call. Sometimes I'll call Scott, and he'll call me back as I'm leaving him the message. All right, he calls back really, really fast. Yeah, so the this is going to be an exciting couple of weeks. We've got such an exciting couple of weeks, right? We've got the acquittal of President Trump. right? We've got, the State of the Union. And by the way, Steve and I are going to be at Wings Plus State of the Union night. We'll talk more about that as time goes on. The State of the Union is supposed to be next week. So I don't know. They haven't announced that there's any change in the date. So I know they're trying to push back the acquittal, the Democrats, so that they can postpone the State of the Union. But Steve and I will be at Wings Plus State of the Union night, even if they push it back. But I don't think they will. It's supposed to be on the 4th. I don't think they're going to push it back. But they're trying to. But whatever night they have it, we will be at Wings Plus. But next week, when these Democrat primaries start, and we go into the Democrat convention, the Democrats who are totally against the democratic process are trying to fix the nomination process and steal it yet again from Bernie Sanders. Listen, this is in the Hill. Listen to this. Some Democratic National Committee members and supporters of Bernie Sanders are venting frustration at DNC Chairman Tom Perez over his initial appointments to the committees that will oversee the rules and party platform at the nominating convention in Milwaukee later this year. Bernie Sanders' allies are incensed by two names in particular. Barney Frank, oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while, Barney Frank, who will co-chair the Rules Committee, and John Podesta will be on the committee, who was the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton, who came out and conceded for her because she had a breakdown. The Bernie Sanders campaign unsuccessfully sought to have Barney Frank removed from the Rules Committee in 2016, describing him as, quote, an aggressive attack surrogate for the Clinton campaign. See, what's going on here, whether or not it's realistically possible or not, we have Clintonistas running the Democrat convention, Barney Frank and John Podesta. And what the Democrats have a pathetic. Did you see Mayor Pete yesterday? Well, it was night before. He had a town hall with Chris Wallace, and he was trying to show how much he cared about Kobe Bryant, and he talked about how great he was on the field. I don't know if he thinks basketball is played on a field, not a court, or if he thought Kobe Bryant played football, not basketball. I don't know. But they've got a weak, pathetic field, a really pathetic field. So what the Democrats are doing is they've got this fix going on in the Democrat convention with Barney Frank and John Podesta to set the stage for the possibility of a brokered convention where Hillary Clinton, who will have missed all the primaries and caucuses, will come in and win the nomination. They're setting this up. It says here, okay, the Sanders campaign tried to get rid of Barney Frank and Podesta. Okay, one of Podesta's hacked emails from 2016 showed him asking a Democratic strategist where to stick the knife in Sanders, who lost the nomination to Clinton after the 2016 primary. There's a very small number of appointments who are allies to Sanders. The appointments include individuals that are outright hostile to Bernie Sanders and his supporters. The Sanders campaign has not yet commented on this, but they're making a move. Okay, so the Democrats are making a move to steal the nomination from Bernie Sanders again. Now, Bernie Sanders last time got bought off. Obama brought him to the White House. He came out shortly thereafter, endorsed Hillary. Next thing you know, Bernie's got a beach house. So I don't know. This is Bernie's last run at his age. This is his last run. He's not, this is the last time he's a serious contender. So the question is, with the Democrats and Bernie Sanders, will they steal the nomination from him? Will they buy him off? Can Bernie be bought off? Will he let himself be bought off at this point? Is he so rich now that he can't be bought? Is he not? I don't know. But this is his last attempt at greatness. He sold out last time, so I guess they figure they can buy him this time. But I'm telling you, they are setting the stage for Hillary Clinton and a broker convention. And I know a lot of you may say, oh, there hasn't been a broker convention since like World War I or something. And people hate Hillary Clinton, and they'll never let this happen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're not dealing with normal people here when you deal with the Clintons. And when I talk about Bill Clinton's checked out. Hillary Clinton's an incompetent person, you know. But the people around her, like John Podesta and the people on his staff, this is John Podesta's last chance. This is the Hillary Clinton was in 2016 supposed to be their ship coming in. John Podesta would have been White House chief of staff with Hillary Clinton, and there's a lot of people around Podesta who, with the Clintons, get in these very powerful positions. So as much of a it's like the guy earlier with the comic book collection. As ridiculous as it may sound to have a broker convention where Hillary Clinton comes in, you're not dealing with realistic people here. You're dealing with very desperate people like John Podesta and his team of people. And you're dealing with probably this crew of Democrats that are running for president, the ones that haven't dropped out yet. This is probably the most pathetic group of people to ever run for the nomination of a major party. They're a bunch of clowns. Elizabeth Warren, who's been committing fraud about her ethnicity her entire life. Mayor Pete, who has Black Lives Matter protesting him all over America, thinks Kobe Bryant played ball on a field, not a court. I mean, they do. You got Joe Biden, who is the most corrupt federal official in America today, who's Pam Bondi detailed all of his corruption yesterday on worldwide television during the trial of President Trump. You know, they don't have any serious candidates. And Bernie Sanders, as popular as he is, you can see, like yesterday, they were calling him a racist. Last week, they said that he was sexist. You know, they're not going to let him win. So they've got a weak field. Bernie Sanders, they're stealing it from him already, and they're planning on bringing Hillary in. As crazy as that sounds. I know it sounds crazy. And maybe it is, but they're setting the stage to do that, regardless of what happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they're planning, they're making a move for the possibility of Hillary Clinton. Keep in mind, Hillary Clinton, these are the people that were involved in the FISA abuse scandal of the 2016 campaign on Trump Tower. This was all done for her. And, you know, I believe the Clinton team are behind the impeachment of the president. I believe the Clinton team are behind this Burisma scandal being exposed to the degree that it has. These are people that are very desperate. It's their last chance. The Clintons will be out of the game after this election cycle with no hopes of coming back into it. They can barely get back in now. They may not even be able to. You know, so the people that are attached to the Clintons, this is their last chance. After this, their Podesta and the rest are done so far as getting into the White House, okay? You know, and you look at what they did in 2016. They spied on President Trump in his home and campaign headquarters. Look at what they've been doing. And they've been putting Elizabeth Warren up to a lot of their dirty work with Bernie Sanders. Okay, there's been a lot of that going on behind it, but you know, she's a useful idiot to them, Elizabeth Warren. The media won Hillary Clinton, not Elizabeth Warren. You cannot win a national election with the Democrat Party when you've been out there claiming to be an ethnicity that you're not, because black people are very upset at Elizabeth Warren over this. This is something that really ticks off black people, and they have been very upset about it. She's done an interview where she went on that black radio show, The Breakfast Club, and they really laid into her about it last year. So she is damaged beyond repair because of her Native American lie. She cannot be resurrected, Elizabeth Warren. They're using her right now to do damage to these other candidates. All right, we'll take our first break of the last hour of the program. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll take this quick break.
You suffer with diabetes. Did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority.
Wow.
At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems What are you talking before about? A they wild begin. couple of weeks. It's going to be a wild Oftentimes, year. Amputation due to diabetes It's not gonna is stop. preventable, and one of the preventable seen measures anything that like is this. most effective is wearing the proper shoes.
This was
Call
great.
the
What
Soul
you just did was
Authority
great, but
at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had 2 bow ties in the back of my Infiniti. So I called them up, and I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price?
And
Huh?
Half the price at Friendly Tire.
Oh, yeah. This,
half the price.
I want to do this one for Troy.
His tires was normally the tires I look at.
Something like this.
Mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, they're twice as good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000
Oh, those are the new
mile
Wings Plus
warranty on
hats.
the tires. That's great. And
The
of
one
course,
you're wearing.
Friendly
Those are the new
Tire,
hats.
They never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
Everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody could buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Listen, give
they haven't announced what's
my
going on with it, so we don't know really what
call
night.
this number 954-977-9445. You'll
Yeah.
get a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytires.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Steve joining us. And by the way, Wings Plus, we're going to be at Wings Plus on the State of the Union night. And you notice we're being a little vague about the night. It's supposed to be the 4th, but it might get moved depending on the acquittal. We don't know yet. Whatever night the State of the Union is, we'll be there. And I just noticed when Steve came in, they have brand new Trump hats at Wings Plus. They have Trump 2020 hats, and I got to tell you, those are spectacular hats. I'm gonna. It's worth coming just to get the Trump 2020 hats at Wings Plus. It's going to be at the Sample Road location, which is about a mile west of University Drive, south side of Sample Road, on State of the Union night. Real quick here on the helicopter crash with Kobe Bryant. Mayor Pete thinks that Kobe Bryant played something on a field. He's already in trouble with the blacks, and then he says whatever he did on the field. He said it twice, by the way. Chris Wallace didn't correct him. And the question is he so out of touch with growing up in America that he thinks basketball is played on a field, or he didn't know that Kobe played basketball? Now, I'll tell you this. I've not watched a single basketball game in my life of any level. I've not watched more than 30 seconds of a game, even when I was in high school. I did play with friends in the neighborhood, and but when I was a kid. But I do know it's played on a court. I know of Kobe Bryant mainly because of that rape charge against him many years ago, allegation, I should say, which I don't believe is true. I don't. A lot about it. Well, one girl tweeted about it from the Washington Post, and they suspended her. For
mentioning it?
She tweeted an article. There's a Washington Post reporter who tweeted an article Sunday about the rape allegation. Washington Post suspended her. There's a follow-up that she's some type of victim of sexual abuse herself. I don't know the details. So there's some outcry. That's how I first heard of Kobe Bryant. I don't believe the charges that the person made. He did admit to having sex with her, said it was consensual. I don't know, but I do know this. when I walk outside and see this fog, I don't even want to drive. I know I wouldn't get in a damn helicopter. And yesterday, it was the other family that was killed in the crash was a mother and their child. And the mother, she was a knockout. Oh, my goodness. But I saw her husband on TV yesterday. This guy, I mean, I know people deal with loss in different ways, but oh, my goodness. It was just, I thought the husband of the woman who died in the crash was just bizarre. But there is new video today, courtesy of TMZ, which is very difficult to watch, when Kobe's helicopter slammed into the mountain at 160 some miles an hour, it burst into flames. And TMZ has, I did tweet this, they have photos of the helicopter that's on fire. I can't believe that helicopter must have had so much fuel on board. I mean, it looks like a refinery fire. Well, but helicopters, I thought had kind of small tanks. They're not. I didn't think this was a long-range helicopter. This fire was god awful and huge. I'm surprised how much fire came from just this one helicopter. Well, where else would the helicopter? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
they haven't removed them yet.
You can't get to them.
Oh my gosh, it's awful. But you know.
Can you imagine what that looks like?
Well, the more you hear about, I know they're going to lay everything on the pilot. Pilot's responsible. But you know what happened? I have never flown in a helicopter. I was talking about this yesterday. I've flown on small aircraft a couple times. I'll never do it again. What happens a lot of times with private aircraft, you don't have the same quality of pilot that you have with commercial or government aircraft. But the other thing is, when someone flies private for someone who's wealthy and a celebrity, they do things they normally wouldn't do, like let somebody freebase in the plane. Remember Ricky Nelson? You know, JFK Jr., who was flying a plane he wasn't qualified to fly at night, couldn't tell up from down, killed his, not just himself and his wife, but his sister-in-law, which destroyed his in-laws. Whole family was wiped out. You know, even the day the music died, you know, they were flying in a small aircraft in weather that most people wouldn't. When celebrities are involved with private aircraft, they have pilots, they get pilots to do things they otherwise wouldn't do because they don't, not because they put the screw, fly in a damn fog. I'm not saying that. They don't want to disappoint the celebrity that they work for. And, you know, from the buddy.
I was driving listening to you on the way in and driving through this.
This is what Kobe was flying in.
No, this isn't what Kobe was flying. This is light.
Really? It looked pretty brutal outside when I went out there.
Thick fog. I mean, I felt like a character in the John Carpenter film.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't see an inch in front of your nose.
Yeah.
You can't see anything. It's like driving with your eyes
closed.
closed.
You want to fly in the mountains at 180 knots?
Crazy.
And you look back at celebrity crashes, you know, and you go back to, you know, Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, and Richie Valens. They were flying in bad weather that they shouldn't have been flying in a small aircraft. That's why that went down.
I got a quick question.
They all do.
Yeah. I was thinking about the Carpenter. By the way, those of you who like horror movies, that's John Carpenter's best film, The Fog.
I would say Escape from New York, but that's just me.
No.
I love Escape from New York.
Who's the guy? Who's the actor?
I don't remember in The Fog. If someone knows, call. I don't remember. Yeah, Ricky Nelson was he the one freebasing in the plane and that went down? You know, when celebrities are involved with private pilots, JFK was flying his own thing, but when celebrities are flown by private pilots do all kinds of things they would not normally do. And I wouldn't fly with a celebrity. I wouldn't fly in any small. If you've ever
anybody that would get into a plane with
helicopter.
That kind of a helicopter with that kind of.
Have you flown on a small aircraft?
Yes.
How small?
Small.
I've been on a twin engine, and the thing yeah.
My cousin took me flying down in Mexico.
Oh yeah, that's great. Well, let me tell you. Well, I'll never do it. I went on a small twin-engine airplane in Peru. I was with my buddy. We were flying over those Nazca lines in the desert that they say the aliens were left, all that tourist trap thing. You know, and I always wanted to fly in a small plane. And I did it, and as soon as we were 2 feet off the ground, I wanted to get off. I didn't realize how much turbulence there are at low altitude levels. Small aircraft are so light, and you hear the wind. Shh, they go up, they go down. I filled up 4 barf bags, and I was in this plane over the desert in South America holding my puke in these 4 barf bags. There's nowhere to put it. And I never will fly in a small aircraft again. And a helicopter's the worst because at least on a small single or twin-engine aircraft, if the engines go dead, you can kind of glide in if you got enough momentum. At a helicopter, it's a rock. But this here, flying in the fog, in the mountains, at these speeds, it's bad news. And the husband of the woman who died, I couldn't believe his tone. You haven't seen Kobe's wife on television. You know, she's handling things appropriately. This guy was just weird. Did you see the husband?
No.
He didn't. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. His attitude. I don't care about this grieving in different ways and things like this. It was very strange. I've seen people on TV after a tragedy where someone's died. I've never seen someone that was as cool as a customer as this guy. You know what I mean? He just didn't even seem broken up. I mean, I'm sure he is, but it just was odd. If anybody's seen that interview, give us a call. But you think Obama's going to do the eulogy at the Kobe Bryant funeral?
Didn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, is it break time?
Almost. Well, today at 10, you're going to be with Barry Siegel.
Yes, I will. We're going to have another one of those great workshops. And
Yeah.
I'll be there at 10 o'clock to meet and greet everybody from the 10 o'clock session, and then you're going to be there for the 2, right?
That's correct. The Revocable Living Trust Workshop. It's the Courtyard by Marriott, which is immediately west of I-95 on the north side of Glades Road. And when you walk into the Courtyard by Marriott, it's a small hotel. There's a sign right there that'll tell you where to go.
Glades Road exit to 95.
Immediately west.
The question always throws me. It's either one exit north or one exit south of Yamato.
It's south of Yamato.
South of Yamato, okay.
Yeah, south of Yamato. All right, listen, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back. I'm Brian. Steve's here. Don't go anywhere.
Would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors. That's how. At 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no
Steve
charge.
Kane Show.
Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every
Okay,
year.
all
You
right.
commercial property owners, same goes
Steve
for your
Kane
property
Show.
insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call
Hey,
I Will
Janet.
Advisors and start saving money.
Janet.
954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve King
Oh, my
Show on
goodness.
iHeartRadio.
This guy.
Search for WWNN.
And now from Save-A-Lot, your center for unbelievably incredible selections and great prices on all the vitamin supplements you could possibly think of, our dear friend Janet Cimarelli. Janet, how are you this morning?
I am absolutely great this morning, and I'm going to add on to what I talked about yesterday. I talked about how to get your brain working on Monday morning. It might be a little slow process, but let's get it working so you can really move on through the week. Today, let's see how your mood is. And did you know there's all kinds of natural substances to enhance serotonin and GABA and all kinds of positive neurotransmitters in your brain? So if your mood is a little shaky, you think, oh, how am I going to get through the rest of my week? How am I going to get to the weekend? Think about herbs like holy basil. Makes you really calm, just chill. Rhodiola, ashwagandha. That keeps your brain functioning, but you're very mellow as well. So you want to specifically raise serotonin levels? 5-HTP. That's a form of tryptophan that goes right to your brain and supports your serotonin levels. SAMe, an amino acid, again, right to your brain. GABA, theanine. There's so many different ones, and I can help people sort out that assortment
That's the important.
so that they get the one for them. Brain armor. That'll get your brain working quickly and support all those neurotransmitters.
The key thing that I want people to understand is that you are a great resource, and you are there at Save a Lot at specific times, which we announce on these little messages we deliver. And they can make an appointment, come in, talk to you. It doesn't cost anything. For example, I just got some blood work back from Adrian that I'm going to be sending to you. You can go through it and make any suggestions you might have. So, and everybody else, avail yourself. Janet's a great resource, and of course, Save a Lot. 15% savings off everything in the store. Janet, tell them how to find you.
It's so easy. It's a half mile south of Sample Road on the west side of 441, State Road 7. So if you're coming south on 441, the first traffic light after you have passed Sample Road, turn right again, and you're in the old Penn Dutch Plaza. And Save a Lot is right there on your left. So 2 right turns on 441 after you have passed Sample Road. 754-307-1655. 754-307-1655. I'm at Save a Lot today, 12 to 5. Looking forward to seeing you.
Janet, you take care. We'll talk soon.
We will. Have a healthy day.
You too. Janet, nice lady, knows her stuff.
That's right. We've known Janet for over 20 years, the two of us. In fact, Janet was with us before we knew Barry Nevins from Barry's Vitamins, actually. So she goes way back. She introduced us to nutraceuticals. Yeah, long ago. I don't remember where she was at the time, but we knew her way back when. The 2020 Wings Plus app?
Trump hats that are going to be available at Wings Plus.
That's great.
The night of the State of the Union.
Whenever that is. It's supposed to be the 4th, but it could be pushed. It depends on when the acquittal is, I guess.
I've been through a lot of huge, traumatic, historical events in the course of my life. And each one, when you're going through it, seems like nothing has ever happened like this. This is the biggest. They all seem the biggest when they're going on. I'll give you an example, a great one. I had in the middle of the Watergate thing, when Alexander Butterfield revealed that there were tapes of every conversation that Nixon had in his private office, and of course, in short order, went up to the Supreme Court. He tried to claim executive privilege, and the Supreme Court expedited the case, and everybody kind of knew if we could get a recording of everything that Nixon had said, he was cooked.
Steve Kane Show.
And I and my got on the plane, and the deliberations were undergoing, and we were incommunicado, we thought, as this decision was about to come down from the Supreme Court. And in the middle of the flight, they broke in to announce over the loudspeaker system, to announce the verdict in the Supreme Court.
That is odd.
Those what?
That means you had a liberal pilot, a Democrat pilot who was all excited. Did he start taking the aircraft upside down and doing loops of victory? Nothing's like OJ, Steve. Nothing's like OJ. Nothing's like OJ.
Well, okay.
Or even close.
So anyway, they announced that 12-0. Or was it 12? Or how many people on the Supreme Court?
9.
9. Okay.
9.
It was 9-0. It was unanimous for
Yeah.
the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and it led to Nixon not being impeached.
So I thought that was like the biggest event in history. I don't know, nothing, even OJ.
OJ's the biggest.
Nothing.
Nothing equals OJ.
No, but this is.
It was such a shocking verdict. The verdict and everything. Oh, please. Even his own defense team were in shock.
This is going to be, you were listening, you were saying that this is going to be big for the next,
Well, the next couple of weeks are pretty hot.
next couple of weeks. This, right up till November, this is going to be.
Well, yeah, but
Every
but
day.
immediately we've got a few things happening. The acquittal of the president, the State of the Union, and then they're going to steal these primaries from Bernie. Do you know in Iowa, in the Iowa caucus for the Democrats, do you know how they're counting votes? They have a person, the Democrats are finding a person to be in charge of each location, and they're going to calculate the votes on their own private cell phone on an app. They're doing away with the normal vote counting like you would do in the Iowa caucus. It's all being done on an app on some Democrat's personal cell phone.
It's that easy for.
Yeah, that's. You want to take any calls?
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hey, it's Jim from New York. How you doing?
Hey, Jim, what's up?
Good. Hey, Steve and Brian, that guy that calls with the wannabe New England accent or whatever it is, the comic book guy who called about it.
Oh, with the guy with the North Atlantic accent, the made up accent from the movies of the 30s. Yeah.
North Atlantic.
Yeah, North Atlantic. Yeah. Oh no, the transatlantic accent.
Oh, Mister, I had a name for him as I was listening to that. Mister, what's the comic you mentioned? The guy that.
The Silver Surfer.
No, that burns it up or something like that.
I don't know.
Oh.
I missed it.
You were there. You were talking to the guy.
Yeah, I tune him out a lot.
Well, he distinctly, I don't remember, because I lived in South Florida back in the day. He sounds distinctly like this chronic caller who used to be on all the time. This guy, Stewart, wannabe talk show guy who used to call up all the time. He sounds identical to this.
I don't remember that one.
guy.
He used to call us, Stuart?
He called like back in the wonderful Isle of Dream days and then FTL, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. Isle of Dreams is before me, but I don't remember Stewart.
I think he might be on one of the Steve Kane YouTube things.
Well, this guy here, this new guy with his comic book collection that he calls, I don't know, a museum in his closet. I don't know.
Crazy. He mentioned one comic book in particular that I'd never heard before. It's something to do with incinerating or the.
I heard he mentioned the Silver Surfer.
No, this.
From Kirby. I don't know.
Do you remember, sir?
No, I don't. No, he's very different.
Yeah, he left me a message the other day, and he mentioned that he took fencing lessons, and of course, he took fencing lessons from the #1 fencer in all of the world. Not just any old fencing teacher. He's a lunatic.
Well, good for him. It's funny getting to the Kobe Bryant thing. I used to work for the airlines back in the days, and we had, the commuter planes, which were operated by smaller companies, and that, some of them were like small 15-seater planes. And even commercially, those smaller planes are treated much differently than your larger aircraft. So, you're absolutely right, Brian, but it has to do with the size of the aircraft. They seem to take things less seriously, and I don't understand.
Well, and I'll tell you another thing. Like, someone called me off the air and said there was no fog when he took off. He could have landed the damn thing on the road instead of continuing flying through mountains.
Well, there's a point there because sometimes the fog will, if you cast your mind back to the Carpenter film,
Steve Kane show.
The original work on fog.
The Human Torch, by the way.
The Human Torch. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
We got a smart listenership out there. When you run into a fog bank, it's like you go from being able to see, like, into nothing. It's like
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like a gradual thing where you become aware of it slowly. And this, you can see perfectly, and then visibility's gone, and that's what happened. They shouldn't have been up in the air. It's ridiculous. If I had been there, they wouldn't have been up in the air. Believe me, if I was the passenger on that plane, I would have said, I wouldn't have been. I would just say, you guys are crazy. Don't you go up, with all the fog that's around.
That's a big lawsuit waiting to happen by the family.
Yeah, and I noticed today, we found out Kobe was worth $800 million.
Yeah, that's a big,
at least
big,
his
you
family
hate to
will
make
be
light of
cared
it, but
for.
there's no light.
All right.
Well, I got to tell you this thing, this town hall meeting with Mayor Pete the other night with Chris Wallace, and Chris Wallace asked him his thoughts on the death of Kobe Bryant. What a soft. Oh, well, of course it's tragic, and he's sorry that it happened. I mean, what kind of question is that? But when he said twice that Kobe played on the field, I just thought, oh my goodness, does he not know who Kobe is or was, or does he not know that basketball is played on a court?
Sure he knows now.
I don't know.
I'm sure that's right. He does know now.
But what was he thinking then? Because this is the thing with Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete's in big trouble with the blacks. He's got Black Lives Matter has been following Mayor Pete all over the place, okay, and protesting him. And then he makes this mistake about Kobe Bryant on the day that Kobe Bryant passed away. It is not something he was really looking forward to.
No, it wasn't. And a slip up like that makes him just show. That's an ignorant statement. I don't care if you're a sports fan or not. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Appreciate the call.
All right, you take care.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna take our quick break.
And we'll return after these words. Excruciating back pain.
What's that? What is it? It's a letter? Oh, it's from Ed. We can't do it now, though. Okay. We'll do it tomorrow. We can't do it now. It will be in a minute. I don't have him yet. He will in a minute.
And if the name sounds familiar, it should. He's the brother of Dr. Janae Lamaski.
I'm going to keep it. You can't do it now. You'll mess it up. It's time for the Gold Report.
He does it quickly, easily, and without surgery or pain medication.
What are you doing with it?
Back and neck pain, Dr. Troy also provides treatment.
If you let me have it, I'll make a commercial with it. I'll make a commercial with it today if you give it to me.
Or slip and fall, the pain won't go away. Well, you want to get back to your old self, you want to call Dr. Troy. His number 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. Online at drtroylamaski.com. Tell him that Steve Kane sent you.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. By calling
Steve Kane Show.
Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080.
Steve Kane Show.
954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I will advise
I'm really
you to
wiped
review
out.
your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080.
I don't know. I don't know.
954-753-8080.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about
Steve
Brighton
Kane
Dental
Show.
Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going
Steve
to
Kane
the
Show.
dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities. I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost
Hey there.
stop
All right, Youngerman.
you from taking care of your teeth.
Youngerman.
Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me.
Steve.
Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
All right, Youngerman.
All right, and the excitement continues in the precious metals markets, and it is that time on the Steve Kane Show where each weekday at this time we speak to William Youngerman. He is one of the top experts, leading experts when it comes to the precious metals. He's been advising clients on trends and movements in the precious metals market now for 53 years. I start losing track at a certain point. But suffice it to say, William knows his stuff. Those of you who followed his advice certainly have a smile on your face that says it all. He knows what he's talking about. William, how are you today?
Great, Steve. How you doing?
Excellent.
Good. Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
The precious metals doing very well. While you were away, they shot way up. Gold got up to over 15, almost 15.90 yesterday before closing, up $9.70 at 15.81.30. Silver was down 2 cents at $18.08, while platinum was down $12 at $9.82. And palladium was down $136 at $21.61. So what means this? Gold is the only one winning yesterday? Well, that faces the concerns on the fear of the virus, of course, and the stock market getting a little so top-heavy that people are just looking for any kind of stimulus to take that market down, as we saw yesterday after it dropped over 400 points. That may recover a little bit today, just as gold is giving back some of its gains today. But the bottom line remains that we are in a very concerning time with a lot of things going on concerning trade wars, the fact that a virus can tip the economies of the world so easily. The economies of the world being so interconnected that it's another reason to own gold as a form of insurance in your financial portfolio. So that we saw gold take off on that news while the other commodities languished. So this morning we see gold giving back about, right now down $6.80. We did get down to $1,570 overnight. But right now gold at $15.74.50, that's down $6.80. Silver at $17.75, that's down 33 cents. Silver is now getting close to 90-to-1 ratio to gold. So it's not believing the scenario, or at least it's not participating in the scenario of the fear metal gold going higher. So we'll see where that carries itself. But gold follows through. If we get a good follow through on gold, and gold pushes towards the high that we hit a couple weeks ago over 1,600, then we'll see silver participate and jump into this rally. And that will be a great opportunity if you're taking advantage of that dip right now. Like I said, silver approaching a 90-to-1 ratio to gold. Platinum down, or up $2 this morning at $984, and palladium down $5 at $21.56. So again, gold at $15.74.50 right now.
Well, it's a very, very strong market and a good time. I was in yesterday, we were chatting, and you were making some predictions about the ultimate upside for gold this year. You want to share that with the audience?
Yeah, our original target for gold this year would be in the 1650 range, but we're looking at some scenarios now that we see a very good potential for gold to actually take after its 2011 high of $1,940. We could actually see gold, I think, potentially hit $1,900 this year or even higher. There's a lot of case for that. A lot of reasons why that could easily take place this year now.
Well, a great time to come by and to fill your coffers with these wonderful precious metals from William Youngerman. And of course, William is located down here, the main office, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. And the number, toll free, good from anywhere in the world, 1-800-327-5010. And also go to the website, check it out. It's a magnificent website, put a lot of work into it. And it's like a trip to a museum, WilliamYoungerman.com. William, good talking to you. I may get up there again today. All right?
Okay, look forward to seeing you. Have a great day.
You take care. We are back.
Oh, boy.
By the way, I got this thing here. I'm going to give this to you. Valentine's Day dinner menu at Tavolino's.
Oh, by the way, this year, Valentine's Day is on a Friday.
It's on a Friday?
Which is very good. That's a great day to have it. In the middle of the week, it kind of messes up the night.
I'm trying to look for looking for the menu here. Oh,
It's all good.
Your choice, they have various entrees you can order with your romantic Valentine's Day dinner. Herb roasted Chateaubriand for 1 or 2, depending what your date's in the mood for. coconut-crusted Caribbean lobster tail. Oh, my Lord. With a coconut crust and ginger rice and tropical fruit slaw. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to give you the number. Call, make your reservation. They're going to fill up real quick. 954 509 0046. Give it to you one more time. 954 509 0046. A great romantic evening at Tavolino's, just what you need.
Yes.
To celebrate your precious Valentine.
All right, here is our Valentine, Al the John.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay, now,
Yeah.
10 years ago, Steve, when you did a Battle of the Talk Show host with Neil, Neil, in one of his rare times,
Neil Rogers.
talking about the Bible, he let me read Paul's letter to the Corinthians. And I want to see if maybe you remember that call. It was we spoke about the fact you were agnostic at the time. You know, obviously an atheist.
I don't remember it, but why should I remember it? You're not going to ask me to read it again, are you? Because the answer is no.
And you weren't an atheist. You just weren't a Christian yet.
No, I was never. I was never.
I remember it because it was the only phone call that came in that discussed the fact that Lori was at that time a Christian. You were agnostic, and I had made the...
Lori was never a Christian.
Oh, my goodness.
Drunk? Lori was never a Christian. Lori is Jewish. Sorry to spoil your story, but what's the point of this? There is a point, right? You didn't just call in and say, I'm going to just blather on today and look like an idiot. Or did you have something else in mind? Because let's get to it.
Well, I mean, if you're saying you don't remember something where I haven't even said what I said. I mean, can I read the 3 or 4 lines?
No, I answered the question before you asked it.
That's sad.
You said, hold on,
anyway.
whoa, hold on. I feel a tear welling up here in my. Go ahead, read it. I'm kind of. You got my curiosity piqued now.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
What I read to you was, my message and preaching were not without wisdom or persuasive words, but with a demonstration of the Spirit's power, for that your faith might not rest in human wisdom, but on God's power. We, however, speak a message of wisdom among the mature, but not the wisdom of this age, or the rulers of this age,
Steve Kane
who are
Show.
coming to nothing. No, we
Steve Kane Show.
do declare that God's wisdom is a mystery.
And the reason you think this is significant is what?
Kobe, right?
Well, I mean, during that battle, you enjoyed doing those Battle of the Talk Show appearances because Neil would come into your show.
What is this flashback to 3 decades ago that you're having today? What is the significance of this moment with Neil Rogers?
Avoiding dealing with what is happening to
The acquittal of the president, and yeah.
His party is collapsing, and he's trying to change the subject, and he's looking forward to things being better for him in the next world. Is that what you're trying to tell us? That Jesus will save us all, and things aren't
that
as
is true.
horrible as they seem to be?
Well, that's true.
Is that what it is?
Well,
Have faith and pray that things will get better.
Well, there was more than that. But okay,
What more than that? Tell me what more than that.
Because I have a feeling, even though you might not recall the call, I have a feeling Lori might recall the call because it was the only call during that Battle of the Talk Show host appearance in March of '83 that the subject of your...
You know, this is like those hearings. Do you remember the March 23rd, 1983 call? What are you talking about?
You know what people want to hear from you? They want to
hear us say goodbye. That's what they want to hear, Steve. They want us to hear you're on. Goodbye.
Well, before you say goodbye, just give us a quick...
They want us to say goodbye.
As to how things are going to work out here for the Democrats. Because right now, from
Steve
where
Kane
I'm
Show.
sitting, with or without Jesus, it looks pretty dismal for the Democrats.
You know it's bad when the Democrats are turning to the Bible. Right?
There'll be 5 to 8 Republicans that will vote for the witnesses.
Okay, so you'll prolong the acquittal a few days.
So what?
He won't be exonerated. People will see it for what it is.
I think people already see it for what it is.
There were not enough Republicans with political spine.
The what?
I love Republicans for political spine.
Oh. Play melancholy game.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Get off the phone.
Oh my God. All right. Teddy.
Hey, Teddy, what's
Hi
up?
there. I'll try to call you guys tomorrow. I can give you an analysis of that helicopter crash and what's going to happen.
Do it now in 30 seconds.
Now,
What's going give us the Reader's Digest version.
there will be 2 lawsuits. One will be wrongful death by relatives of the survivors, and there will also be a products liability suit.
Against the helicopter manufacturer. Yeah.
Part of the helicopter itself.
Well, sure, deep pockets, $800 million. Yeah, sure.
Well, who's going to get sued?
Kobe Bryant's family.
You're going
His
to
estate.
sue Kobe Bryant's family?
Manufacturer,
It was his helicopter.
there will be 2 guys going through that wreckage who are working for one of the plaintiff lawyers, and they're going to sue the manufacturer on a products liability basis if they can find a defect in the aircraft.
There wasn't a
Because
defect in
that's
the
where
aircraft.
the
The guy
money is.
flew into a fog bank, and first, and then a mountain. So what is the lawsuit?
Don't worry about it. I had 30 years of practice in defending against those suits. I know the anatomy of what's going to happen.
The next lawyer, okay.
Nothing worse.
They're going to go for the deep pocket, and they will try to find...
We got to run.
Well,
We're out of
isn't
time.
Kobe the deep pocket? Isn't Kobe the deep pocket here?
He probably has more money than the helicopter manufacturer.
Correct.
Time to break, Steve. Or end the show. We got to end the show. These callers are getting me all messed up. Oh, my goodness.
Have a nice day. And, call again real soon. Not too soon, but that does it for today. I am off to the Barry Siegel workshop, where I will meet a lot of our listeners at 10 o'clock. Brian will drop by at 2 o'clock. Give me the information real quick.
We're almost out of time. Courtyard by Marriott, immediately west of 95 north side of Glades Road.
See you tomorrow morning. God bless America.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
All right, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you don't. Take care.